What up? What up? What up? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. How we doing in the building, everybody? Look, thumbs up in the chat. Let's get everybody in here. We got a whole lot to discuss today. A lot's going on in hip hop. Shout out to everybody in the room already. I am elated today. The fact that A Tribe Called Quest has been inducted, or will be, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, I've been kind of going real tough for this for a minute. And I think that they finally made the right decision to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen because, Tribe's one of those special groups where they're not like you don't consider them a crossover success, but their quality can't be denied. And, Q-Tip star power, Phife Dawg and what he brought to the group, Ali Shaheed, and of course, Jerobi. I don't know, man, it's a win. And I know a lot of people would be like, why do y'all care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a little bit different than the Grammy committee when it comes to hip hop. They've gotten it right. They've got Grandmaster Flash in there. They got Run DMC in there. They got the Beastie Boys in there, Public Enemy in there, NWA's in there, Tupac, Biggie. So they've gotten it right. And to get somebody like Tribe in there, even though they got Missy and Eminem in there before Tribe, which, we'll talk about that in a second. For Tribe to actually get in there for the type of music that they made and the approach that they had is big, I think. And I don't think I've ever been this happy to hear someone being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I even got more excited about this than I did Janet. And I love Janet. It makes me feel like Wu-Tang's next. Makes me feel like Outkast will probably be following that as well. So it's a pretty great day for Tribe Called Quest and for hip hop in general, man. And I want to make the argument today that Tribe Called Quest is the greatest hip hop group of all time. Now, I don't know.
The greatest of all time, Mike. The greatest. I would agree. They're in my top 5, top 3 groups.
I would ask anyone who feels that another group is greater and why. And I have an argument, when it comes to Tribe.
There's a compelling argument that can be made. You've been talking about this Hall of Fame induction for a very long time, and you were very adamant. Remember, Mike, we recorded a podcast like 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And you were talking about how Eminem got in, and you was upset about it then. We never put that podcast out, but they in now, man. They in there, man. And I mean, they're one of the greatest groups of all time. You got Midnight Marauders, Low End Theory, People's Instinct. I mean, you can make an argument that they're the best group of all time.
Well, I see the Wu-Tang out there in the comments. I see Mobb Deep. I'll handle the Wu-Tang thing first because I'm a huge Wu fan, and I think Wu-Tang stands on its own. But if we're talking about group albums, and we're not counting the solo shots, we're not counting those things. You can even count some of the, I guess, collaborative works like Guillotine and things like that to add to the catalog. I still don't think that Wu-Tang as a group now made better music than Tribe did collectively. We're talking about Bonita. We're talking about Award Tour. We're talking about Electric Relaxation. Shout out to Blue Collar Hustle. He says the greatest of all time is Wu, bar none. RZA, Ghost, Ray, Jizza, Stop the Cap. Listen, I think you guys are looking at it from a bar perspective. Now, we talk about the best rap group, bar for bar, member for member. No one even compares with Wu-Tang. Did I say Tribe's the best rappers? No, but as a group, when you look at the music that they made Low End Theory. They made Midnight Marauders. They even made People's Instinctive fresh out. Like, that's their debut. Their debut got 5 mics. It was like one of the first 5 mic albums in the Source, period. And that wasn't even, by many people's metrics, that was their 3rd best album. They created the whole evolving thing from album to album that Outkast kind of was able to take on and move forward with. You look at what they did with the remixes as a group. You look at what they birthed when it came to the Dillas of the world, the Commons of the world, the Black Stars of the world, the Roots of the world. They have so many children out here. I don't know, man. I think their impact and the way that they approach music, they damn near created a subgenre that so many other people rode off of. Now, Wu-Tang is something else. Like Wu-Tang is like the Avengers, but I think a lot of people are thinking about A, their mic skills, which is high, right? And B, I think people are thinking about the solo works. But if you want to put Into the 36, Wu-Tang Forever, The W, and Iron Flag up against Tribe's catalog, you're gonna lose.
Well, I think people are adding the solo works as a collective when you talk about Wu-Tang as a group.
I don't think that's fair.
Because a lot of those albums were collaborative, man. You got RZA on the boards. You know what I'm saying? He did a lot on the Purple Tape.
He did everything on the Purple Tape, which is incredible. Shit,
he did a lot on Iron Man. He did a lot on Supreme Clientele. I mean,
well, he didn't do a lot on Supreme Clientele, but he executive produced it. I mean, the fact that he made Dirty's album, Liquid Swords, and Only Built for Cuban Links in the same damn year is incredible. Incredible. But if we're talking about is Tribe even over Dilated Peoples, are you fucking serious? Y'all really want to get me started today? Are we serious? You know what?
I think they are serious, Mike.
I would love to sit here and play 20 Tribe records versus your 20 Dilated Peoples records. Let's not be disrespectful. Now, Public Enemy, there's a real argument there.
It's an argument with Outkast. It's an Outkast argument. OJ Weston's in the chat saying, what about Outkast?
I think that I'm gonna say this, and I don't want my Atlanta pass to be taken because Outkast raised me, man. And rest in peace to Rico Wade. But I'm gonna be honest. I think the Tribe's music, which came an era before Cass's music, has actually aged slightly better than Cass's music. I don't think that there's anybody in hip hop whose music has aged as well as Tribe's. I mean, that's just where I'm gonna go with it, and that's where I think Tribe stands alone. Shout out to De La too, but those Tribe records, man, like when you hear Electric Relaxation, Award Tour, shit, the whole Midnight Marauders, Lyrics to Go, you can't put a date on those songs. You can't put a date on those songs. Those songs sound like they were made like yesterday. I mean, and I know Still Here says, in your opinion, like my father wasn't the biggest hip hop fan. He liked certain things or whatever, especially the stuff that had the James Brown licks to it. But I would ride around and listen to Tribe with my dad in the car, and he's like, that sounds good. Like, their music connects, man. Like, and it doesn't sound like any of the times either, except for People's Instinctive. That does sound like the early 90s, but that's even inventive in itself. And they just created so many lanes. And when you look at like some of the loops that Tribe did first, what Q-Tip did first, other people followed. Like when he did what's the song I'm thinking about? It's on People's Instinctive where Lisa used it for Let the Beat Hit Him. It was Footprints. He used that loop first. The Big Papa loop, the Isley Brothers Between the Sheets, he used that first with the Bonita remix. Even the Bonita sample, he used that first. Everything that those guys were trying out first and successfully connected, you heard from other people later on. Let me get to the super chats real quick. Blue Collar Hustler, says, Tribe is better than Wu. Tribe's music's aging better than Cass. Michael, you're breaking my heart. Letting us down. What am I saying wrong? This is Tribe. And Tribe is better than Wu album for album. Bar for bar, no. If Q-Tip was in Wu-Tang, he might be the 5th best rapper in the crew, I would say. Maybe, as an MC, I could put Ray over Q-Tip. I could put Ghost over Q-Tip. I could put Method Man and Jizza over. Yeah, he would probably be like 5th as an MC. And Fife probably a little bit further, not too much further. You got Inspector there, who's a beast as well. But if we're talking about the musical catalog, album for album, track for track, I don't know, man. I'm going Tribe because I think where Wu-Tang doesn't stand up to Tribe is when it comes to the W and beyond. And not only that, Tribe's most recent work was actually quality. What's the last quality Wu-Tang album you guys received? I mean, let's just be real here. Jermaine Johnson with the Super Chat says, I absolutely love Tribe, but I can't place them above Wu when even the 6th or 7th best member of Wu is a much better rapper than Phife. See, this is where we're going. Is it just about the raps or is it about the music that you're making? Maybe I need to go ahead and just clarify what I'm saying. When it comes to making music, which I thought this was about, A Tribe Called Quest is the best hip hop group we've ever had. I
see a lot of daylight. Let me ask you a question, Mike.
Sure.
If you want to go album for album, right? So People's Instinctive against 3 Feet High and Rising.
Oh, People's Instinctive is better than me, but you know what? That could go either way. If people want to say 3 Feet High and Rising, it has the hits, but I don't know. I mean, is Me, Myself, and I bigger than Bonita?
No.
And if you say it is, and it could be, because Me, Myself, and I is pretty big, then okay, where's the Can I Kick It? What daylight got for that?
No, yeah, you got a point.
Then we got then we got The Luck of Lucian. Then we got Footprints. Then we got, Description of a Fool. And this is their 3rd best album. I think the best chance that De La has is De La Soul is Dead, and then that goes against the Low End Theory. Low End Theory is better than that.
Right.
Midnight Marauders is better than Balloon Mind State, and I love Balloon Mind State.
Yeah.
Matt 7 with the Super Chat says, I agree, Mike. Tribe got the #1 group catalog. Yeah, I mean, why is it so crazy to even say that? I guess people don't feel like Tribe was the best rappers. But if you listen to the music, man, their music stands alone. DJ Bruce Almighty says, I feel you, but song for song, you can't see Cass. Okay, well, let's explore Cass too.
Let's explore it.
Let's explore Outkast here. Southern Playlistic's a classic.
Okay.
Southern Playlistic's better than People's Instinctive.
I give you that.
The Low End Theory is better than ATL.
That's correct.
Akumina is actually better than Midnight Marauders, but some people would debate that. But I think Akumina is the better album. Then you got Stankonia, which I think is better than Beats, Rhymes, and Life. But then what happens is Tribe keeps going and Cass kind of stops there. So then you got the Love Movement, and then you got Thank You, We'll Take It From Here. And then you got the remixes. You got stuff like the Scenario remix, which in my personal opinion is actually better than the original. Cass doesn't have those things. I think that Tribe beats them in the long game. I think that Tribe's music, again, I feel like his age is better than Cass's music slightly. But again, it's aged better than everybody's music. And I want to say this, and I want to say this respectfully, because I love Cass. I want to know what 5 Outkast songs you guys playing all the time? And like what era of Cass do they come from? That's a serious question. I'm not trying to be, we just went through Jay-Z's whole catalog in the last episode. I'm not trying to, be funny or, hyperbole.
Well, let's throw the question back to you. What Outkast songs are you playing? I'm gonna name 5 after you. What songs do you go to for Outkast?
Well, I'm glad somebody said this, man. Spodioti, I never thought that would be the song that aged the best on Aquemini, but it's actually the one.
I like West Savannah off of Aquemini.
Awesome. Yeah, West Savannah's awesome.
Art of Storytelling. I got Art of Storytelling, West Savannah. I go to that one. Art of Storytelling, West Savannah. Spody.
Somebody said I ain't from Atlanta. What am I doing with this question? I'm being objective.
You being for real. You being for real. I don't play Rosa Parks like that. Rosa Parks I don't think that aged well. Miss Jackson didn't age well.
Never liked
Bombs Over Baghdad didn't age well.
I think Bombs Over Baghdad is a phenomenal song. very inventive. And like I've said on previous shows, man, like you kind of got to take the good with the bad, right? Like when you go out there on a limb and you're inventive and you're doing things that people haven't seen or heard, then you can run the risk of it not catching, you know what I'm saying, years later. And I think that's kind of what happened with Cass. I think that when you look at somebody like a Mobb Deep and a Tribe, they built the brand with the way that they created music. And I think Cass changed so much that only a few things kind of stuck with people, and how it's based on the outcast you identify with. If you identify with the Stankonia outcast, you're going to connect to those records. And for us, the people who kind of identify with Cass from, I guess, their origins, we're going to identify with those records the most. Because to be perfectly honest with you, the star of Southern Playalistic is the production. Big Boy and Dre were dope, but they weren't all the way there as we know them now yet. And Organized Noise really laced them on that album. The production is phenomenal. So Get Up, Get Out, I would say, is the one from that album. Best mic performances on that album. Yeah, Get Up, Get Out. Ain't No Thing. And Hootie Hoo. But I don't know if we're, as much as I love Hootie Hoo, and this is where I feel there's a dilemma on my end. I don't know if I'm being nostalgic if I play those records, or if I'm really playing those records for the moment. Tribe stuff was before me. So when I play their stuff, it's not me being nostalgic at all. I just want to hear those songs. You know what I'm saying? Like when I hear like Funky Ride and stuff like that, it takes me back to a place. It takes me back to a place in the city. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and tell you that Wheels of Steel has aged in the way that Electric Relaxation has. If I came from outer space and heard Elevators or Wheels of Steel, and then I heard Electric Relaxation, I would swear to you that Electric Relaxation came out after these records. And it really came out 3 years before it.
Mike, how would you, I don't know, if you came from outer space, how would you know that? The folks from outer space might be on some other type of time. You don't know that.
I'm just saying, like, Electric Relaxation sounds a lot more current to me than Elevators does. And you're right, if I was from outer space, how would I even know that? But if I didn't know, and I'm just sitting here listening to how these songs came together, it's hard to explain, man, but Tribe stuff sounds so timeless. I know that we use that term, you know, over and over, but Tribe's the definition to me of timelessness. Even if we want to talk about Missy's catalog, right? That Get Your Freak On shit, that shit sounds old to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like 10 years younger than the Tribe stuff. It's incredible. Jay Short with Super Chat says, no disrespect, but De La Soul is Kobe. Tribe is Jordan. I get De La was nice in contrast to gangster rap at the time, and they were from NY, but we have to be real. Yeah, we got to be real. Like Kevin Bray with the Super Chat, just showing love. He didn't even have a comment on that. I appreciate that. He must be a Tribe fan like myself. Yeah, Two Dope Boys does still bang. But I'm sorry, man. You play Two Dope Boys next to Lyrics to Go, man. And Lyrics to Go blows Two Dope Boys out the water. One of them came out in 93 and the other one came out in 96. And again, when we're splitting hairs here because Tribe and Cass are both two of the greatest groups ever. If you look at the debut albums, Southern Playalistic had the tutelage of Organized Noise all over. I think Organized Noise is the star of Southern Playalistic. You know who made People's Instinctive? A 19-year-old Q-Tip made that shit. It's phenomenal. Just like how we praise a 19-year-old Nas for making Illmatic and writing Illmatic and how incredible that is. They didn't have no OGs that was sitting over there on the boards, you know what I'm saying, making their album for them. A 19-year-old Q-Tip made People's Instinctive. It's different. DJ Bruce Almighty with the Super Chat says, you smoking whatever Leroy Green had Saturday. How am I wrong? Like, I wanna hear some real arguments, man.
I mean, they throwing a lot of shots at you, Mike. They saying you ain't giving EPMD. They do. You say I see a lot of Mob Deep comments.
I love EPMD.
See a lot of Mob Deep comments. You know.
Okay, let's address Mob Deep. Y'all really think Mob Deep is Tribe? I mean, Mob Deep had great moments, and on the mic, yes, Prodigy could out-rap both Phife and Q-Tip. But if we want to be honest here, when did Mob Deep make their turn? When Q-Tip stepped into the fold and helped Havoc learn how to do certain things with his production. Then we got the Infamous. And Tribe ain't got no Juvenile Hell. Let's not act like Juvenile Hell doesn't exist. Tribe's trying to find themselves album was People's Instinctive, which was a classic. They hit the ground running and still furthered their style. So they were already advanced. You know what I mean? The Infamous, if Q-Tip doesn't come around and do what he did in working with Havoc, the Infamous doesn't happen in that way. He was a big part in making that happen. Who did that for Tribe? Nobody. You know what I mean? Like, we just got to call it what it is. This man's the god. Shout out to Q-Tip, man, and all of his sons. Kanye West, Pharrell, Andre 3000, all of his sons. So let's give Tribe their due, man. And I know people don't want to admit that a group with somebody that's as cool and vibey as Q-Tip and Phife, who might not be quote-unquote monsters on the mic, ain't the best group ever, but they are. They're the best hip-hop group we've had, man.
Best hip-hop group. That's an argument that you made for Wu-Tang. I got them 1A, 1B.
I mean, if Wu-Tang, look, man, nobody wants to face the elephant in the room, man. Wu-Tang as a group didn't come out with the albums that we expected them to come out with the level of talent that they had.
Let's take 36 Chambers. 36 Chambers, Mike, is better than People's Instinctive. Let's just keep it a buck.
Yeah, 36 Chambers is one of the greatest albums, period.
So they came out the gate smoking. Let's just be. I mean, Wu-Tang Forever's no slouch. If we on the source
get no low end theory,
there ain't no low end theory, but it ain't no slouch. It can hold its own. It's not an afterthought. Is what I'm saying.
Man, listen, the Low End Theory is a top 10, top 15 hip hop album of all time. Wu-Tang Forever, it's not. And I like Wu-Tang Forever a lot. It's not. It's not. The W is not Midnight Marauders. Iron Flag's not Beats, Rhymes, and Light. It's not. It's not. The best comparison people have is Cass. And I'll say this. We've done this before. My previous co-host, you do not want to see me with 20 Tribe records versus 20 Outkast records on the station head. You do not, because those songs will sound better in theory than they do through the speakers in comparison to Tribe, that is. And that's no knock to Cass, because Cass raised me. I'm just basing it on what I hear through the speakers. All set with the super chat says Mobb Deep, UGK, and Cass are duos. I put them in a different category. We'll see. That's going to take us down a whole different rabbit hole. But yeah, Q-Tip is something else, man. And
it's a great day, Mike. It's a great day. You've been waiting for this day
hyped up, man.
You've been waiting for this day. You've been waiting for this day for 3 long years. When Eminem got in the Hall of Fame, you were very upset. You called me. You were distraught. You felt like hip hop was disrespected the day that he got in, and Q-Tip, Phife, and the rest of the Tribe didn't get in. You were hurt, man. And we had a podcast that never came out to talk about it. But now today is a day to celebrate. So let's just celebrate them while we can, man. Shout out to Tribe Called Quest.
I want to say a couple other things, too, if you don't mind. Not to interrupt.
Go ahead, man. It's your show, bro.
They did put Eminem and Missy in there, and I don't think Missy should have gotten in so soon. But Mary J. Blige did get in there, and I think that's great. But my question is, and I think Wu-Tang. Yeah, I think Wu-Tang's going to get in next. That's going to happen. Who has Snoop Doggy Dogg pissed off where he doesn't get anything? Like, clearly the Mary thing is an Interscope thing, and I think that's great that Mary is getting in. She needs that. She needs to get in. It's well deserved. But I don't understand how Missy Eminem gets in before Snoop. Is Snoop's contribution to Dr. Dre's career just not enough? I don't understand. Like, they put everybody around Snoop in there. They got Dre in there. They got Pac in there. You know, I guess, Cube's in there through the NWA thing. Eminem's in there. Like, how does Snoop get left out of this? Like, Snoop is one of the biggest rock stars, if not the biggest rock stars that hip hop has.
Mike, we got to have a whole nother show to talk about Snoop. I don't know why. I don't know why Snoop's in there. I don't know why Snoop's not in there. Maybe it's because it's the music.
What do you mean? Like,
his
not great.
I mean, his music is great, but when was his last? What was it? The Rhythm and Gangster? What was his last dope album?
Listen, man, they got people in there with 1 or 2 albums, man. Guns N' Roses is in there, NWA's in there, so I don't want to hear about a length of a catalog. Eminem's been making trash albums for 20 years. And you telling me that Snoop Doggy Dogg can't get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Probably one of the most recognizable figures in music over the past 30 years.
He'll get in. He gonna get in probably next year, but we gotta
I don't know.
He'll get in.
Snoop, yeah, they need to figure that out, man, because Snoop not being in there and Missy and Eminem and shit, even Jay-Z being in there before Snoop, I think it's a problem.
Is Nas in? Did Nas get in?
No, Nas ain't gotten in.
Oh yeah, so Snoop got to wait a little bit, man, because this whole show is supposed to be about Nas today. Nas, he gonna have to wait for after Nas to get in, man.
Well, let me get to some of these super chats. Vince Smith with a super chat says, Tribe birthed Pharcyde and Hyro, countless producers like Jay Dilla and Kanye. Yeah, I mean, the amount of people that Tribe birthed, and you guys want to sit here and act like it's a crazy thought that Tribe's the greatest hip-hop group ever? Come on, man. Mad Max in the super chat says 36 Chambers is better than anything Tribe did. Now, hold on now. You can think that, but it's not an open and shut thing that 36 Chambers is better than the low end theory. That's not an open and shut case. Not an open and shut case at all. Mad Max says Mary got in MV, yo. We did good. Oh, okay. He's talking about YO. Mount Vernon, yo, we did good. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says Missy and M getting in before Nas is disgraceful. And you know what? And let me address that part too, because I'm used to the media, the mainstream media at that, overlooking Nas, or I don't even want to say overlooking, just disrespecting Nas and his craft and his greatness and his abilities over the years. And it's not cool, but it's expected, right? As much as the mainstream props up Snoop Dogg and everything that Snoop Dogg's given to this game, the whole death row movement, even his proximity to Dr. Dre at every given moment, even when Dr. Dre needed a comeback, look who he called. He had to have Snoop on Still DRE. He had to have Snoop on Next Episode. For him to be overlooked when Dr. Dre is at every freaking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame function is wild. And not to mention what they did to Super Bowl. They marketed it like a Dr. Dre and Snoop show, and then it became a Dr. Dre show. Jay Short, the super chat says, I still think Public Enemy is number one group of all time. They didn't birth anyone because their style was too original. And they still have the most classic songs out of any hip-hop group. Now, that one, Jay Short, if you want to say Public Enemy is the answer, I'm okay with that. Public Enemy was different, inventive, and to this day can't be duplicated. And Tribe and both NWA got a lot from Public Enemy. So I'm okay with that. Shout out to Public Enemy. Those are my 1 and 2 right there, Ron.
Hey, man, it's a great day. Tribe is in. You've been wanting this for a long time. Mary J is in. Hopefully Nas will get in next. Maybe Snoop will get in, but Tribe got in. That makes me happy, man.
Hold on. What do you think about the narrative that Eminem saved Dr. Dre's career?
I don't think that's accurate because right around Eminem came out, what, 99? 98?
99.
So he had 2001 was rocking around then. So Snoop.
Well, no, that was slightly before, but I don't think,
he didn't save his career because 2001 was in the chamber, right? So if you got Still DRE already cooked up, you got Explosive already cooked up, you got all these records already cooked up. He already working on the record. So Eminem didn't save his career. I don't think that's an accurate statement. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what Dre did for M benefited, M and Dre as a businessman, but sonically, I don't think it added to Dr. Dre as an artist, his solo catalog. Because even when you look at Forgot About Dre, as we learned from Chris the Glove, Forgot About Dre was recorded in 97. They were sitting on that record. There's no way in hell Jimmy Iovine or anybody was going to allow that song to be the first single on 2001. It was too risky. It wouldn't work. You know why? Because he needed Snoop. Anytime that we see Dr. Dre come out of here and is presenting anything to us as an artist, he needs Snoop. From G Thing to Still DRE to Next Episode, shit, to even Kush. Shit, even Bitch Please. I think Bitch Please is what saved Dr. Dre's career.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that, Mike. If you look back at that era, right? Those songs, Be Please, Still DRE, Explosive, those are songs you listening to. You're not listening to Forgot About Dre. You're not listening to what's that joint he did on Eminem's album? These voices.
Guilty Conscience.
Guilty. He ain't playing them records, man.
Even if those songs or whatever, those aren't the songs that you go to when you think about Dr. Dre and his brand. Those are off brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not gonna say they're not good songs because they were cool songs for the time, but those are off brand Dr. Dre records. Explosive is on brand. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, Next Episode's on brand. Still DRE is on brand. Like, these are on brand Dr. Dre records. Like, the Forgot About Dre's and stuff, those sound more like Eminem records, which is fine, but those don't do anything for Dre. So to say that Eminem saved...
Who said that, Mike? Who's been saying that?
I saw somebody in the chat say that, and I wanted to correct that because, I guess you could say from a monetary value standpoint, but that's damn near like saying 50 Cent saved Eminem's career then, right? Can we say that? Are y'all willing to say that? Because he did. Mad Max of the Super Chat says Dr. Dre chased M over Snoop. Chose M over Snoop. What word starts with C and ends with the N and has two O's in the middle? That's Dre. Damn, Mad Max is ruthless, man.
Damn, that's gangsta.
What would Easy say? What would Pac say? Right?
What would Suge say?
I heard Suge speak on that Drake song with the Tupac AI. We'll get to that in a second. Jermaine Johnson with the Super Chat says, if Dre does a versus, he's not playing Eminem records. That's the bottom.
That's the bottom line.
I mean, that's just the truth.
We can end it on that note. Mike, take us to the next topic, man. But shout out to Tribe. Shout out to Mary J. Hall of Fame. That's a good look.
Yeah, love it, man. Shout out to everybody else who made it. I think Kool and the Gang made it, too. I had the pleasure of meeting those gentlemen back in 2019, I think it was. Randomly ran into them in the airport. Yeah, they was cool, for lack of a better term. So, yeah. Okay. Before we get into this whole Nas thing, I want to, man, so much going on with the Drake AI record. I said, all right, let me rewind. Last episode, I said, you know what? I'm picking Kendrick if he hurries up with a record. And I said, if he lets Drake drop another record, which I predicted that he would do, it's going to be difficult to come back. That's where we're at right now. It's over, man. I mean, I'm just going to be honest, guys. I think it's over because what this tells me and what all of this teaming up tells me, and I looked at some of the clips from the Kanye interview. Kanye said, well, he told Justin Laboy that Future called him. So they're basically out here calling for reinforcement. I think Kanye said something along the lines of they were all excited about, trying to remove Drake from the game, basically. Saying all that to say, if that's the mentality where everybody has the gang up on one person, that lets me know that Kendrick ain't got the record on him. Because if these guys knew that Kendrick already had this, had a record, in the bag and in pocket, they wouldn't even be doing any of this. And that's just simple as that. And just like I told you guys after the Super Bowl, when Kendrick didn't have a release date, Didn't have anything to drop. I said he doesn't have an album. Doesn't have it ready. It's the bottom line. Now, whether you guys think that Drake's diss is garbage or not, which, that's clearly up for debate because there's a lot of people who feel different. At least he has records. I mean, that's just what it is. We're not getting a record from the other guy.
We're not.
And, I mean, are we going to sit here and say that somebody is up right now because they haven't said anything? I think that's a bad way to look at things. Like if you're getting hit twice, I mean, you got to be down 2-0 if you haven't swung back. Like, what boxing match would you watch where, the one boxer's throwing punches and actually landing? It might not be knockout punches per se, and the other guy doesn't even swing, but you're going to give the round to the guy that didn't swing? Where does that happen?
Yeah, I've never seen it happen. I've heard a lot of theories over the weekend, Mike, about Drake's lack of response. I'm not Drake's lack of response, K-Dot's lack of response. Somebody said he don't have no phone, so he really don't know what's going on. He don't have social media. He doesn't have a phone.
Wait a minute. He ain't got a phone.
That's what I heard. I saw several interviews with some cats saying K-Dot don't have no phone. He don't have social media, so he don't know what's going on. So he don't even know the time that it's time to respond. He don't even know.
Need to find the fuck out what's going on. I mean, this is the thing. The days of being able to act like you live in a bubble and you're just oblivious of the world around you, that you can't do that and still hold your spot per se. You can't be the number one guy and not know what's going on. It's impossible. Like, you don't think Tom Brady, he was number one, is out here watching film on the guys that are coming up and the teams that are on their heels, or the people that he in his mind feel like are actual competitors? You don't think Michael Jordan, being the person that was clearly physically over everybody in his position in his era, you don't think he still watched film and still watched the weak points of the other guys so he could go out there and do what he does? I hate to say this, man, and y'all gonna think I'm dumping on Cass. I love Cass, man, but I blame Andre 3000 for this mentality where people feel like they can go out there and lean on work that they did 6-10 years ago and don't have to go out here and defend what they're doing. Now, in Dre's defense, he never said he was number one. He never said he was this and that as an MC ranking or whatever. But Kendrick's doing that, and Kendrick's sitting here, like Drake said on this AI record, which I don't have a problem with, and I'll get to that in a second. I think the whole point of this AI record is the fact that, like, yo, man, you started this and you're not willing to respond to this. What's going on, man? Where the record at? And I think that is a very valid point. You was throwing all these sneak disses. You were doing all of this stuff until this man, who I guess you didn't think was actually going to jump out at you, until this man went out there and said something, and now you silent. And, the person who really looks the worst in all of this is J.Cole, man. You fucking apologize for nothing. Literally nothing. And now you got the Avengers out here ganging up on this man, Drake. And you left Drake, the man that just put you on tour. And I'm sure that, the tour was very fruitful. You left him out there, man. It's fucked up, Cole. I still fuck with Cole, but that's fucked up.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Mike, I want to ask you two questions because I asked the same question to Leroy Green this weekend on the Weekend Rhyme show. If K-Dot don't respond this weekend or by Friday, what should Drake do? It's a two-part question. And what should we as the hip hop community on the pod game, what should we do as fans do? Should we move on? What would you do if you're Drake? If no record comes out by Friday, what's the move?
Man, shit, man. Drake makes music, right? Drake should take advantage of this amazing marketing opportunity. And he's already going to do numbers no matter what he does anyway. What Drake should do is just drop a new song. Fuck this nigga. He's not going to respond. And I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying if I'm in Drake's mind, right? It's like, look, he said he wanted it. I put it out there. He don't want it. He ain't got it. Let me show niggas how to really make hit records. And this would be a perfect time to drop a little EP, drop an album, drop a single, whatever. Because if he drops a single, Kendrick's not going to catch that because it's going to do numbers, especially with all of this stuff that's going on. And not even mention him at this point because he did what he had to do.
Crazy. Can we play the Kanye? Can we play the Kanye joint real quick?
Go ahead.
There's adding the chorus and call the hooligans, call them out in London to get on a joint. And, you know, everybody is very, very excited about the elimination of Drake.
Yo.
You know, the creator touched Drake's soul. It's like he signed his soul to the devil to not be cool with me, to have to, like, this is his job to go against God.
Wow.
And it cuts his soul. They say rich baby daddy. It's like Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian and Universal.
Wow.
He's like, you know, like, man, my daddy got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my daddy controlled the spins. My daddy got the DSPs. My daddy. Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucian.
So all of his streams in the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucian.
Well, Lucian worked for people who control the banks and cuts Drake's soul.
Let me go to the super chat. I got to respond to this, man. DJ Bruce Almighty says, like that remix has been blocked on YouTube. Wonder who did that. Look, y'all know how much I love Kanye West as an artist and as a innovator and as a thinker, and I don't want to say thinker, that might be taken the wrong way for people, but just a visionary, right? And I'm not even that big of a Drake fan. This sounds like some hater stuff. It really does, man. Like, I'm disappointed, man. I'm disappointed in people. Like, this just sounds like, so now, because this guy is, you know, at the point that he is in his career, all of these same companies that all of these individuals have worked for in the past, like, work with Universal. Yeah, you have. Def Jam was, you know what I'm saying, under Universal. It is what it is. You had a pretty great career under Universal as well, if we talk about the numbers. Ye has done a lot of numbers. Ye has won a lot of Grammys and all those things. But now that this man, it's his turn, now it's Lucian.
It's crazy, man.
I want to see the whole interview because, again, I know these are just different pieces of the interview. We haven't seen the full thing. I would respect if he would come at it from a standpoint where it's like, you know what? I know because I was there too type of thing. You know what I'm saying? But this just doesn't seem, this seems like guys are just hating on dude, man. And
Mike, what did I tell you on the last, like, few pods ago, right? I said, you know, who I felt bad for in this situation. When this Kendrick Lamar disc came out, I said, nobody talking about that Ye and Ty Dolla $ign rollout no more. That kind of got silent. You know what I mean? So
here comes Ye.
Yeah. And here comes Ye. And but Ye's been poking at Drake for a little bit. They've been going back and forth for about 6 or 7 years. So this is nothing new. I'm not surprised that Ye is going at Drake. But
I was always surprised when Ye would go at Drake because in my mind, I mean, Kanye birthed all these guys. You know, he birthed the generation of Drake, Cole, and Kendrick, you know, one way or another, right? And I think Drake, he was really hands-on in the launch of Drake, even down to the Young Money stuff, right? He directed Best I Ever Had. He produced and, you know, helped write Find Your Love, Drake's first, you know, official single from his debut studio album. So I don't know why he ever felt threatened to that degree when it came to Drake. It just feels like people don't want to hand off the baton. When you're not the most popular guy in the genre anymore, it seems like that's the problem. I don't understand what problem any of these guys would have with Drake anyway.
Well, Drake did some stuff. He used his wife's voice on a record before. He's talking about, he kind of baited him with that. So there's been some personal stuff brewing between Drake.
Was that before there was a quote unquote issue?
I don't know, but you shouldn't do that. That's kind of low. But that's what Drake does, though. He goes after the females to kind of hit you low with it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, he's very Jay-Z in that sense, where it's like, yo, he's very subliminal with it. He's very cerebral with it. And you know, he'd be very petty with it too. But I mean, you got to expect that. But I never thought that Drake was even in the realm of the artist that Kanye is. Like Kanye is I mean, I'm not saying Drake's not a creator because he is a writer as well, and he's written for others. But Kanye is a creator on a whole different level. And it seems like his issue with Drake is the fact that he feels threatened by Drake as far as legacy goes. I don't know if that's a numbers thing, but this is something that the rappers or MCs gotta just understand, man. When it comes to the numbers, he's gonna trump everything that they've ever done. I mean, it's just what it is, and that doesn't make what he does better. But someone could always point to the numbers. It's like, I'm not saying that Drake's LeBron, but if we want to talk about numbers wise, and people want to point to 40,000 points, people want to point to however many rebounds, assists, it's a tough argument. And that's where Drake is with the numbers. And I think that's probably what gets under people's skin. And even with the Pusha T thing, Pusha got Drake, clearly. And you know what I'm saying? And I've said it famously on this channel, man. Like, he shut Drake down for a whole month. Like, Drake went into album mode. He stayed off of social media and everything. He even issued apology for the blackface and all that. But the way that even happened was, if we look at history correctly, Pusha might have said something that could have went with Drake, but it also went with Wayne too. Drake jumped in there defending Wayne, which he really didn't have to do. Infrared was about Wayne. Because even if we want to talk about ghostwriting, Pusha's been tugging at Wayne when it comes to the ghostwriting. Back when he said on Illy with Jeezy, he was like, tell Hova don't pass the crown so soon, unless you got a crown for every writer in the room. It's too many spirits on these ghostwritten tunes, so you can't crown an A until you seance the room. That was going at Wayne. And I have no reason to believe all that stuff at Infrared was all for Wayne too. Drake jumped in there and called us straight. So that's how that happened. But this stuff right here, this is head up. And I think he probably learned something from the Pusha T thing too. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys don't call Pusha up, because that's what they're going to need.
I mean, why are these people going after one man? It's kind of looking kind of crazy, man.
Bad.
It's crazy.
You know who looks the worst out of this?
Future? Future look crazy. Future look crazy.
Yeah, but nobody thought that Future was gonna. I mean, Future should have stayed out of this, in my opinion, as far as on wax. But they're all making Kendrick look bad, because even on the remix where Kanye's on there, he's like, Kendrick, I got you. Like, Kendrick needs help because he ain't got no record. That's what it is.
He don't have a phone, Mike. He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't know that the record's out, Mike. He doesn't know.
Listen, man.
He has no communication to the outside world. He has no social media. He's not watching this podcast, obviously. So he just doesn't know the record's out, man.
Listen, man, if it's 2024, you're in the rap game, and he's an active MC, right? Like, if you don't have a phone and you don't have any connection to the outside world, you might as well bow out now when it comes to that part of it, man. It's no OVO Mike. I'm just calling.
Damn, they call you OVO Mike now? Damn.
Like, how do people see it? And this is coming from somebody. I'm a way bigger Kendrick fan than I am Drake. I'm just calling it like I see it. Like, what am I supposed to think? Really, like, what am I supposed to think? This man that hit you with a full-out diss record, calling you out, saying you ain't got the records, you ain't smoking on nobody's top 5, and y'all sitting here caping for the nigga who said he's smoking on people's top 5 and did all this sneak dissing, but when the dude comes out and says something, he's radio silent. How can y'all defend that?
What did Drake say on the record? He said, nah, we ain't gonna stop. What Drake say?
Yeah, he said, no, I ain't let that slide, no. And I love the way he did the AI shit. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, I hate AI used in music. Will Pox Estate get a part of the publishing for this song? Has Drake now opened up a door for everyone to create a Drake AI feature verse? Could he complain if that happened? Listen, I don't know if people are reading articles or whatever, but when you listen to the song, I thought it was creatively done in a way where it's like he's basically telling you, like, look, Pac would be disappointed in the way you're acting right now. Snoop is disappointed in the way you're acting right now. You're supposed to be holding the West Coast down. He was even said in the record, man, you ain't blasting on this light-skinned nigga, man. Like, come on, man. Like, what's up, Kendrick? Where's the record at? And I think that was the approach, and I have no problem with him using AI. Now, if he used Tupac's voice and AI to just straight up diss Kendrick, it was like, fuck Kendrick, this and that, yeah, that would be whack. But the way he did it, he was having a conversation with some of the greats and what they would possibly say. Because you know what we always do in this culture? We always say, what would Tupac do? Shit, Kanye has said that in lyrics. Or Tupac's back, or I remember on that, what was that? When Eminem and them was going at Ja Rule. They talking about, man, Pac wouldn't fuck with you, this and that. So what Drake did was he pulled a, you know what? What would Tupac think of this situation? You repping the West Coast, right? You supposed to have the West Coast on his back. Y'all didn't have a problem with Kendrick using Tupac's voice for the whole To Pimp a Butterfly. Was that not a problem? When he used a quote unquote unheard Tupac interview from To Pimp a Butterfly. Has anyone ever questioned if that was AI? Because I think it was AI. Yeah, conspiracy theory Mike here.
I know, not to jump topics. I know that Michael Jackson records that came out was AI. That wasn't no real stuff.
Okay. I want to rewind here. I believe that the Tupac interview
was AI.
To Pimp a Butterfly was AI. I mean, where's the interview from? Where did the interview come from? Did anybody say, you know what, this is Tupac's interview from blah, blah, blah? This person gave this Tupac interview. Do y'all know where that interview came from? Because I don't.
Did they ever say? Did they?
No. Somebody in the chat tell me where the Tupac interview from To Pimp a Butterfly came from.
It's a mystery.
Is it not AI?
It's Interscope Archive.
From who? Who did he sit down with? If you're doing an interview, you sat down with somebody, whether it's archived or not. Whose interview was it? Who
Don't
stepped
know.
up and said, you know what? That was my Tupac interview that I did at 1995 after Clinton Max or whatever. Where is this interview coming from? And why have we never heard this interview into 2015? It was AI. Until proven otherwise.
Yo, we're having a good show, Mike. Mike is really cooking tonight, but there's a bot, there's a troll in here. Keep asking where's Coop. Oh, man, that's like 6 shows ago, man. Move on. If you don't know where Coop is, then obviously his new show is not connecting. But go ahead, Mike. Jesus Christ.
GTD. Is that got the draws 784? Anyway, Brian G with the super chat says Pac don't like Snoop, so them being on the same song was never gonna happen. The AI diss makes no sense. It does make sense. It's really not about them being on the same song because clearly they're not on the same song because it's AI. It's a song saying, you know what? What would these two West Coast legends think about the fact that you ain't responded yet, nigga? The whole song is about why haven't you responded yet? That's what it is.
Again, Mike, I'm asking you the question. You already answered it once. If you don't answer by Friday, are we going to talk about it after Friday? If you don't come out, are we done with it? Are we going to continue to talk about it?
I ain't nothing to talk about. Kendrick lost at that point. All right, listen. The interview is based on a 1994 Swedish radio broadcast from P3. Huh? I'm looking this up. So Pac did a Swedish interview in 1994?
Did he do it in Sweden or did he do it in the United States?
Man, John, I, respectfully, bro, I think you made that up. You got a source for that? Interview a month before Quad Studios. Okay.
My question is why didn't it come out?
Yeah, who holds on to a Tupac interview?
You would think that would have came out right after his death.
Yeah.
I don't know. But man,
Yeah, it said it was done with the Swedish Reporter. The interview's on YouTube. Okay.
Okay.
Y'all sure that that's official? And I would like to know, why did this Swedish reporter hang on to this interview for 20 years and then say, you know what? I like the concept of this Kendrick Lamar album. Let me give it to him.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, look, why wouldn't I think it's AI, right? But let's just say hypothetically it is AI. Is that okay?
Well, we don't know. All I know is that it's been almost 2 weeks and no records come out. So that's all I know.
All right,
I don't know nothing else, Mike. We had a whole show, man. We talked about all these current topics. We was going to do a Nas breakdown today, Mike. What's up?
We can still do that.
He got 17 albums, man. That's gonna be. We got to do a part 1 and part 2 of this joint.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Jay Level Up with the super chat says from 40 seconds to 3 minutes, Drake used the same rhyme pattern with Pac, Snoop, and himself. I don't know if y'all peeped that. Yeah, I thought that was like making it very clear this is Drake, but these guys are wondering where you at, man. It's not like he tried to rap like dudes.
Crazy.
But, okay, so Nas celebrated 30 years of Illmatic on Friday. And Illmatic, we could speak in length to how incredible of an effort the Illmatic is. You want to talk about timeless, an album aging so well, and 1819 when she was 17 when he wrote Halftime, writing an album that can be related to in every era, in every age bracket. It's fucking phenomenal, man. I'll run out of all types of adjectives to use for how incredible the Illmatic is. So in celebration of that, DJ Premier and Nas came together and put out a new song. And in that new song, they're talking about doing a full-length album. At least that's what I heard in the song. What were your thoughts on the song? And
first of all, I want to say for Illmatic, man, this guy was 17. This young man was 17 years old when he wrote some of these records, man. You got Q-Tip on it, you got Large Professor, you got DJ Premier, you got Pete Rock. I mean, this is a quintessential album of the time, man. You got to think about it. When most times people are young, they don't make records that you can listen to 30 years later. When you're young, you're in a young mind state. Yeah. You're talking about young man things. This man's talking about grown folk stuff that in my late 30s and 40s, I can just go back and put on that album and listen to it. That's a very rare feat. And we always talk about Illmatic in terms of hip hop. It's one of the best hip hop debuts of all time. But you talk about American music, it has to be up there. I mean, it's better than Nirvana, better than Bruce Springsteen. It should be in, damn, he ain't in the Hall of Fame already. This album needs to be in the Hall of Fame because it's one of the best pieces of music that we ever had. So 30 years later, I'm going to go check out the show. I mean, we're going to be Mike and I are going to probably go out to London to go check out the show, 30-year anniversary. But I mean, it's just, we always talk about it in hip hop terms, Mike, but I'm talking about in music terms, Illmatic is one of the best pieces of music that's ever been written. I mean, it's just a crazy record, man.
I mean, the execution of it all and just the overall team, I've always said hip hop is a team sport. And Illmatic is no different. I know that when it comes down to the mic performance, obviously he was flawless and he was clicking on all cylinders. AZ with his feature on Life's a Bitch, incredible feature. It's definitely one of those moments where you have one guy who jumped on an incredible album and lived up to everything that album was as well. And then you start talking about the production. Then you start talking about the contributions of DJ Premier, the contributions of Large Professor, Pete Rock giving The World Is Yours on there, LES with Life's a Bitch. And it's just everybody coming together in Faith Newman and her contribution as a record exec over there at Columbia at the time, and even MC Search, it's a whole collection coming together to basically, man, revitalized the bridge at the moment, because the bridge was kind of silent since what KRS-One came and did. And we just got through talking about Mobb Deep. Mobb Deep coming with the infamous after that, that's off the Illmatic momentum, man. That's off the momentum of this young Nas. And it's phenomenal. And we can't talk about this album enough. And I know it seems like we're always celebrating Illmatic. And so 30 years, I mean, it's another milestone for such a great album, but this album changed everything. It didn't do what people credit Biggie for doing on Ready to Die with bringing New York back. And I think that was more about a radio thing where Biggie had the more notable radio records. But if you want to talk about from a rhyming standpoint and change the whole rhythm of how people were approaching rhyming at that time and the cadences, Illmatic changed that. That whole notion of having multiple big-time producers on one album, Illmatic changed that, because at the time it was nothing but people's camps producing albums for them, and I think that was great too. We talk about Tribe, that was Q-Tip producing that. Pete Rock and CL Smooth, Pete Rock was producing those albums. Gangstar, that was all Premier. You know what I'm saying? The Chronic, that's all Dre. We can get into that too, but Illmatic changed that, where it made it where it was like multiple producers can exist on one effort, and it came out flawlessly. Jay Short with the super chat says, honestly, I don't mind AI music as long as there's a disclaimer. If some person with a super smart computer program would make a hypothetical third big album, I would be intrigued. Not gonna lie. Yeah, the music's good and the concepts are dope. Why not? I mean, I'd rather AI than auto-tune. It's my personal opinion. I can't hear you, Ron. I think you're on mute or something.
Let me touch on something you said. He had a lot of producers on Illmatic. And you notice that was a trend in the 2000s. But, I mean, when he made that album, it sounds cohesive, right? When other folks did it, you talk about Volume 2 and the array of producers on that. This sounds like a cohesive body of work. This doesn't sound like a whole bunch of producers have different sounds. They all came together to make one vision to create Illmatic. And that's why it's so timeless. It doesn't sound like a mismatch of producers throwing stuff at the wall to make it stick. It's a young man with a vision who created Illmatic. And it sounds like a movie. It's cinematic.
It's guys that were coming off of great albums themselves, right? Like at the time, Pete Rock was making Main Ingredient. He was coming off of Mecca and the Soul Brother. Premier was coming off of Hard to Earn, and Q-Tip was coming off of Midnight Marauders. So these producers, and Large Professor was coming off of Breaking Atoms. So these guys were already album makers, and they already were kind of congregating in the same atmosphere. They would trade records with each other. They were making beats around each other. Like I just got to listen to an Abstract Radio episode, Q-Tip's radio show, where he had Pete Rock and Large Professor on there. So these guys were already kind of linked anyway. And Pete and Premier, they do stuff all the time anyway. They saw a young, gifted MC that was a once-in-a-lifetime talent, and they got on the same page and said, we're going to make this happen. And they executed flawlessly. Everyone in this collective executed flawlessly. And so, we always talk about, Nas having to live up to Illmatic. But the thing is, man, that's not a fair thing to do, because there might not be many, if any, hip-hop albums more incredible than Illmatic itself anyway. So it kind of stands alone in itself, and it's going to stand alone in his catalog. That doesn't mean that he hadn't made other great albums, because he has, and we're going to get to that. But an album like this is so special that it definitely has to be celebrated in that way, and it's just a moment. It's everything.
It's a moment, man. And you talked about this on earlier shows, Mike, that the mainstream media doesn't give Nas his due. I looked at Rolling Stone's list of best debut albums of all time. They got it at 31. They got 36 Chambers up ahead of it. It's got The Chronic ahead of it. I think it might even have College Dropout ahead of it. You know what I mean? So it's just...
That's a shame.
It's a shame, man. It's a shame, man.
I think 36, I could see 36 Chambers being possibly, even though I would disagree with it because of all of the things encompassing, but man, when Wu-Tang came through with 36 Chambers, man, that shit was like that shit was out of nowhere. We had never seen or heard anything like it at the time, so I'm okay with that. The Chronic was just a monster from a sales standpoint, and you had records like G Thing, Let Me Ride, and stuff like that. But just from a content and concept standpoint, I can't, in good faith, put the Chronic over Illmatic. I think it's a disrespect to writing. When you got a song like One Love on there, you got Memory Lane on there, New York State of Mind on there, from a 19-year-old. Life's a Bitch on there. I woke up early on my born day. I'm 20. It's a blessing. The lessons of adolescent keep my body's now refreshing. Physical frame is celebrated because I made it. 1/4 through life. Like, no, man. Like, I love the Chronic. Ain't nothing on there like that. There's nothing on there like that.
And let's be real. Let's be real. Y'all know. I mean, let's take the album. If you check everybody's phone and what they listening to, people listen to Illmatic. I can't tell you the last time I pulled up the Chronic and just vibed out to the Chronic. Maybe about a couple months ago.
I listen to the Chronic a lot for the production, though. It's not for, to get you through the day. Definitely not. It's like if you're in the car and you know what I'm saying, and you want to hear something loud, I just play Let Me Ride the other day. I play These Nuts the other day. Incredible records, but it's not Illmatic, man. Like Illmatic, it's a purpose, man. Like and I think that
a movie.
Yeah. And I think the way that it was even produced, I talk about how Organized kind of took the back seat with Goody Mob's Soul Food album, and they let Goody rock. You know what I'm saying? They didn't choose the overpowering production like they did on Southern Playlistic. They kind of dialed it back so that these guys could tell their story. The production on Illmatic is perfect because these guys are super producers, but they're not trying to overpower you with production. They're doing just enough where the artist shines, but the production is a backdrop. That's what makes Illmatic so different than other efforts. And what people took from that or tried to run with that is to call Nas a bad beat picker because the producers in other albums of his didn't take on that same mentality. I mean, respectfully, the other albums don't have Pete Rock, Premier, Large Professor, and Q-Tip producing it. So anybody, would appear to not have the same level of beats. You know what I mean? Like that could be a narrative for anybody. We could say that about Snoop, right? When he got away from Dre on Doggy Style, his production from end to end on the album was never the same. But that doesn't mean it's bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. On to this. Before we get on to this Nas album breakdown, I know we're like an hour in already, but are you excited about Nas and the possibility of a Nas and DJ Premier album?
I am excited, Mike. I got a text message at 6:30 in the morning from my guy in New York, Ron Vay. He'll be on the show soon. And he wasn't feeling it. He didn't like the production. Ron Vay is a producer and Ron Vay is a rapper and he's a writer. He didn't like the loop. He thought it was a simple loop. He didn't like the production of the record. But I think this is not a first single. This is just a warm-up. And I'm excited about the record. I think you look at New York State of Mind Part 1, New York State of Mind Part 2, Nas is like, they did a joint on, was Come and Get Me on Nastradamus. I mean, they got some records, but this record was okay. I give it a B-, but I'm excited about the record. I think it's a good culmination of an event between Primo and Nas, and I think this is what we need right now.
You're a big DJ Premier fan, as am I. But let's just talk about the beats, right? Do you feel like DJ Premier's production is at a high level right now, or do you think there's a possibility it could step up a little bit? Like, what's the best DJ Premier production you've heard in recent years?
Well, I'm not going to speak negatively about Preem. He's one of my favorite producers of all time. Am I a big fan of this beat that came out on the Nas record? No. But my favorite Premier beat over the last few years is A$AP Ferg, Our Streets. That's a crazy beat. That's a crazy, crazy record. If that could be the theme song of the little Saturday night joint we do, I would make that the theme song. That beat is crazy. ASAP Ferg.
I think and I'm with you on that. And so clearly Preem still has, some crazy beats in him, because that what was it? The Benny and Omani Caesar record on Omani's first album, Hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, he does have those beats still. I think when it comes to Nas, man, it's like it's so much to live up to. And usually the artist is the one that feels the pressure of those things. But I think Preem feels that pressure more than Nas actually does. I think Nas has gotten to the point where he hears the production, he just does his thing on it. I think we're hearing a different, I won't say a different Nas, but this Hit Boy run has really done something to make Nas feel comfortable with a lot of things production-wise. And I think that at this point, Preem's not only living up to, what these guys have done in the past, but now he's kind of living up to some of the recent Hit Boy stuff too. And I think Preem can do it. Obviously, he's one of the greatest hip-hop producers of all time, many people's number one. But I think he's gonna and this is my opinion, and who am I to give Premier advice, right? Just don't overthink this. Let it flow.
I forgot about that West Side Gun record, and it was West Side and Rome Streets, right?
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was crazy. 007 with the super chat says, beat was cool. Nas skated. I give the track a B. It's not a record that makes you feel like, yo, I can't wait for this album. I think they're gonna need another one to make people feel like that.
It's a warm up. It's a warm up, Mike. This ain't the shot. This is just it's the warning shot. This ain't the real bang right now. They got something.
My fear is the fact that, again, man, many of the major publications who hold the Nas Likes, the New York State of Minds, and all those records as the standard, that if some of these records or none of these records meet that level, which is a super high level to meet, that people will trash the whole album. I don't want that to happen, because Salam Remy made you look, right? I mean, is there anything close to Made You Look that they've made together? That doesn't mean they made bad records together, but holding people to a New York State of Mind, Memory Lane, Nas's like standard is unfair. It just is. So
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for the record, man. We'll see.
Me too. I'm excited for it. I just hope that the public doesn't, bash it before it becomes anything.
So Mike, let me ask you a question. Are you more excited for the Nas and Primo joint or the Pete Rock and Common joint?
I think the Pete Rock and Common joint.
I'll say that too.
And let me explain. And it's not because, we have some sort of relationship, but it's because I've heard Pete Rock make a lot of full albums with artists in more recent time, whether that be Smoke Diz or whether that be Sky Zoo. And I think that conceptually, there's not going to be, we're not even going to have expectations for this album, really. You know what I'm saying? And I say that respectfully. I think that we know it's an all-time great MC with an all-time great producer, and we're just going to wait for it to come out, and we want to hear what it turns out as. I think with Nas and Premier, there's so many crazy expectations that I think that those expectations from the fans can even seep into the artists themselves. And it just sounds like, even with beat breaks in this current record, it sounds like they might be trying a little hard and overthinking some things as opposed to letting it flow. So that's just my take on it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You want to get to It Was Written?
All right, so Illmatic's number one.
That's it. Debate's over. Some people in the chat on the thread was like, how are you going to just say Illmatic was number one? Because I said Illmatic is number one, and we got to fight for what's number two. But there's an
Well,
argument that can be made. For it was written if it was done the director's pet style, but that's neither here nor there.
There are MCs out there, and I want to say Slaughterhouse famously was saying, well, it might have been Crooked Eye or Royce, I could be wrong, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, that was saying that it was written as a better album than Illmatic. Listen, I understand the fact that he's a better MC on It Was Written, and that's my opinion. I think conceptually, this is when the storytelling starts at a high level. Now, granted, One Love is somewhat of a story, but this is where the high level storytelling starts, right? This is where the I Gave You Powers come in at, where, you know, you're personifying yourself as a weapon. This is where the shootouts come in, and this is next level lyricism. I've always said, man, Nas in '96, that guy right there might be the greatest MC that I've ever heard grace this earth, right? If we're picking just 1 year for an MC, like 88, 87 Rakim type stuff. Saying all that to say, the songs on It Was Written just aren't as great as the songs on Illmatic. As great as It Was Written is as an album, and as great of an MC as he is on there, and I don't think the production lacks to the level that some people try to make it seem. I just think that after Illmatic, everything's going to kind of pale in comparison, no matter who you are. Like, you could have been a Tribe Called Quest following up Illmatic, and there would have been some critiques. Same way I do with Midnight Marauders coming after Low End Theory. It is what it is. So let's look at It Was Written. Let's just go down the line. The Message, incredible. Street Dreams. Were you a big fan of Street Dreams?
I like Street Dreams. When I was younger, I didn't, but as I grew older, I liked Street Dreams.
I like Street Dreams. I liked it when it came out. I love the remix even more with R. Kelly on it. He killed that shit. I Gave You Power. Incredible record. Watch Them Niggas featuring Foxy. It was okay.
Trackmasters classic.
He's killing it on there though. Take It in Blood, classic. Nas Is Coming. Now, this was the low point on the album for me. Once again, expectations, trying. Never like Nas Is Coming.
Nah, it's not.
But we also have to factor in, it's the first time Dr. Dre had ever worked with an East Coast MC, at least high level or whatever. But at the same time, that big collaboration of great producer Dr. Dre and all-time MC Nas at the time, it was underwhelming. I mean, there's no way around it. I think it's probably one of the weaker beats on the album, and that's crazy to even say. And I think that these are the moments that create that Nas being a bad beat picker narrative, because it's like, this couldn't have been Dr. Dre's best beat. This was what Nas picked. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know, man. But Mike, you and I talked about this over the weekend. If you take Nas Is Coming off this record and you put in Silent Murder in its place, then you got an almost perfect album. An almost perfect album.
Jay Short with a $20 super chat showing love. He said, I hope this Preem album is awful and fails. All these old school boom bap heads don't deserve good music after what they've been doing to Nas and Hit these last couple of years. And I hate that Nas, I hate that Nas to these second childhood fools. And I hate that Nas. Well said.
Well said.
Let's see. People like the Nas Is Coming beat.
I didn't like that beat, Mike. I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. That beat, I'm gonna tell you, you take Nas Is Coming off this record and you put Silent Murder on there, you got a damn near perfect album. Perfect.
I just didn't love that era of Dr. Dre production, like that been there, done that era. I think that for what we know Dr. Dre as, you know, and man, like I said, I was just listening to Let Me Ride the other day, the live version too. Like, this nigga's shit is grandioso. Same thing with Next Episode. You remember at the end of the Next Episode video where he had that dun 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 dun. Like, shit sound like Future. But that stuff that was during that been there, done that time just wasn't that good. And this is that sound. And I never was a big fan of it. Affirmative Action. Great record.
I'm with that.
The setup, incredible. I always love the setup.
Dope record.
I wasn't a personal fan of Black Girl Lost, but I can't call it a bad record because I get it. You know,
it's a dope record. Dope record.
I love the sample too. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. I understand. Suspect. I love Suspect.
Dope record.
Shootouts. Incredible. Live Nigga Rap. Incredible.
Incredible.
If I Ruled the World, not my favorite, but I get it, and it's one of his biggest hits, if not his biggest hit. So I can't take that off the record. The Silent Murder is my. Anybody who knows me knows Silent Murder is my personal favorite Nas record. Oh shit! I just almost played the record. So, so with that being said, It Was Written's pretty high.
It Was Written's pretty high. I would say it's. Some people make an argument it's the best album, but I'm gonna give it number 2. Solid.
Right now, I'm gonna give it number 2 for sure. Right now, I'm gonna give it number 2 for sure. I Am.
This will be getting a little bit rocky.
I'm a big fan of montages, right? So one of my favorite, well, not one of my favorite montage ever. You remember that Moonwalker movie that Michael Jackson had? I know you're a Prince fan, so I'm sure you saw it.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
But that montage that Michael had before the movie came on, the most incredible montage ever. So they took on a whole montage approach on the album intro for I Am, and I love that. I love that they kind of, scratched like stuff from Illmatic to It Was Written. It kind of got you ready for something. And then it goes into New York State of Mind Part 2, which I thought was an incredible record. I love New York State of Mind Part 2.
Incredible record. I'm at the gambling spot. My hand is in the knot. New York Yankee cat covers my eyes. Stand in one spot. It's crazy record.
The storytelling on there, man. It's Nas at his best. And you know what? Premier, and I talked about living up to things. Premier did a great job of living up to that first beat. Now, that first beat is raw. It's the intro to Illmatic pretty much, you know what I mean? First opening song, rather. So it's hard to duplicate that feel. But for a polished version of that production and a part 2, I think he did a great job of revamping that beat.
And the story was telling. The story he told on there was crazy.
Web Visibility with the super chat says after a 6-album run with Hit Boy, DJ Premier is definitely under the most pressure between him and Nas. As a Mount Rushmore producer, he can't let Hit Boy outshine him. I agree with that. Max with the super chat says, Kissing, Big Things, We Will Survive, You Won't See Me Tonight, Bring the Album Down Bad. We're going to get to that. Okay, Hate Me Now.
Wasn't a big Hate Me Now fan, Mike. I ain't gonna lie. The video was so hyped up.
When I heard it.
The video was hyped up. They played it on the radio on Hot 97 down here. I wasn't a big fan.
I remember Greg Street debut Hate Me Now. I was excited to hear Nas back. And maybe at that moment, the sample and how big that it sounded. It sounded like Nas doing Victory. Because everything that Puffy did at that time, Puff Daddy or whatever, was huge. Remember he did that damn Godzilla soundtrack thing? It was like Puffy was a big star. So everything was huge and everything was grandiose. So I didn't really look at Hate Me Now as like, why is Nas doing this? I understood that Diddy was on the song, so it had to be big. But yeah, over time, I liked it less and less each time I heard it. But it's okay.
It's not a Nas record I go to.
It doesn't showcase who Nas is lyrically. It sounds a little forced. Small World. Wasn't a big fan. No.
Favor for a Favor, Scarface.
I liked it. It was okay. But based on the collabs of these two titans and all-time greats, it's kind of underwhelming. Not as memorable as you would like for it to be. I think the record that Scarface had with Nas on the Fix is way better. If we want to compare,
we want to compare. I'm gonna hold my thought to when we get to the end of this. I know what happened to I Am, but go ahead, Mike.
007 the super chat says I Am is outside of his top 10 and it's a solid album. That's crazy to say. What a catalog. We Will Survive. I never liked that record.
No.
Yeah. Ghetto Prisoner.
I'm gonna go no on that one, Mike.
Nah. You Won't See Me Tonight. The Timberland Sabotage.
No, it's the Track Masters and the Timberland Sabotage. But yeah, it's not. No,
this is not Timberland level, in my opinion. I want to talk to you.
The mayor, the governor, motherfucking president. No.
Dr. Knockboot.
I get Dr. Knockboot as a concept. He's spitting on that joint. He's breaking the game down for the females. So I get the record. I get where he was trying to go. But again, it's track man. I'm gonna give. This is not a Nas. This is not a knock on Nas. My critique on this album. It's not a Nas thing. I know what happened with this album, and I'm gonna explain it in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Knockboot's a no. I think it was him trying to do the 10 Crack Commandments in a different way. Life Is What You Make It featuring DMX. I like this song. I mean, but again, just like the Scarface record, it's not if when we talk about all the time what DMX was in 1998 and 99, and then this is after Belly and everything, it doesn't live up to those things. Big Things.
Wasn't a big fan when it came out.
Oh, no. You know what?
That's when you try to rap. You got to change the style on that joint.
Listen, me and Nate, you remember Nate, man? We would always talk about that part where he's like, "I nigga never want to grow up." It's like, no.
That wasn't his best moment.
Small World's okay. Small World's fine. I think Big Things is where I'm like, nah. And then Nas is like, oh my God. See, that's the problem with these songs.
Nas is like so I used to play that joint on repeat every day, man.
It's one of the strongest songs of its era, and it comes out of nowhere. What about the KISSING record with the R. Kelly sample?
Let's skip that one, Mike.
Hey,
let's skip that one.
Money Is My Bitch.
Let's skip that one, Mike.
You know what? I Am is falling very far.
Let's just skip that. Let's skip that. Let's skip that one, Mike. But I'm like I said, I'm not knocking the album. The album was done because it was bootleg. I think it's not a Nas problem. This is a record label problem. And I think if you listen to the Lost tapes, a lot of those records on the Lost tapes were supposed to be on I Am. So this album wasn't what it was made to be. So I'm going to give this one, it's a mulligan. This is a pass. This ain't really a Nas album. This is a label. It's a Columbia album. This ain't a Nas album. This is something.
We've always heard that the double disc of I Am was going to be the greatest Nas effort, and the right cuts were made. And then there were bootlegs that, that held up that process. And a lot of these songs were rushed because they weren't on the original. Project Windows, is one of those that was supposed to, the original version was supposed to be on the double disc. And it's unfortunate that it happened that way. So if this album comes out the way that it's supposed to come out, Nastradamus doesn't happen either. I would venture to say, man, even though that this album has some incredible highs with Nas is like New York State of Mind Part 2. I think all of these 6 Hit Boy albums are better than this album. All 6.
I'll say that. This album didn't age well, but again, I don't even really want to rate it like that because it wasn't supposed to be this. It was the bootleggers, all my cats in NY messed I Am up, man. So I can't even rate it.
Mal 7 with the super chat says Nas is the GOAT, but Big Things was horrendous. Brian G with the super chat says Ghetto Prisoner is better than any song on KD or Magic series. Okay. Oh man. Hold on. Now you're gonna make me listen to Ghetto Prisoners live. No, it's not, man.
I don't know why you wasted your time to do that, Mike.
I was like, I'll try to listen to the people, man.
I
Try to
mean,
listen
you
to
know,
the people.
sometimes the people can be wrong. This is according to hip hop, but sometimes they be wrong with it, man. I ain't even whip up my phone and listen to that joint. I already knew that.
Okay. Nostradamus.
Another, you know, I got the same comment as I got for I Am on
Well, let's do it.
Nostradamus.
Let's just go through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to give it the same respect, you know?
Oh, before you go, Mike, before you go, this wasn't, he pulled the DMX on this joint. He dropped 2 albums in the same year. So this is one of those joints, came out in December. I think this came out, I Am came out in the spring. This came out right before the holidays. So he did a DMX joint, tried to drop 2 in the same year. So you got to give it that caveat.
Okay. The prediction. Life We Chose. Nostradamus.
I like Nostradamus, actually. I do.
Y'all should welcome me back.
You want a ball till you fall, I can help you with that.
Yeah, started a lot of things there.
A slugging egg, I'm a wild barbarian. Yeah, I like that joint.
Actually, I didn't like the hook at the time, but now I get it. Again, I think this is one of those moments, kind of like Electric Circus with Common, where it wasn't the song that we wanted to hear from that artist at the time. But it's not a bad song. Dane with the super chat says, Ghetto Prisoners is special. I'm missing out. All right, I'm going to listen to the whole Ghetto Prisoners again when we get offline. Some of Us Have Angels.
That's going to be a no for me, Mike.
Project Windows featuring Ron Isley.
Yeah, no.
Come and Get Me, the premiere joint. I like that.
I like that joint. Not one of the strongest efforts, but I like it, you know.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good album song. Shoot 'Em Up.
I like Shoot 'Em Up.
145, 2 niggas died.
I like that. That was one of my favorite records on the album. I like that.
Okay. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Havoc did the beat.
Havoc did do the beat. Last Words, I think, is one of the strongest moments of this album.
Yeah, I agree.
Last Words is strong. Family featuring Mobb Deep. Again, a little underwhelming. That's cool. God Loves Us. Quiet Niggas featuring the Bravehearts.
No.
Big Girl.
You're a big girl now. That's a double time rap, right? No. But again, I'm not blaming Nas for this record. My cats. There's probably some of those cats on all the pods bootlegging the records. This is why we got this Nostradamus, man. That's why I can't even fault Nas for this.
But it's kind of like that Tom Brady, some of those championships, right, where the defense won, and and the defense didn't hold them up against New York or whatever. The bootleggers actually helped Illmatic to be what it is too. The bootleggers doing what they did forced them to actually cut a lot of those records on Illmatic and go with 9 tracks. So,
but you got to look at the producers on this effort, though, Mike. I mean, he got LES did a whole bunch of records. He had Dame Grease. Dame Grease had some joints, but this wasn't just their best work right here. This wasn't.
That wasn't. New World.
Is that the one with how'd that joint go? Dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
Happy New Year. That's one of them Y2K joints.
Yeah, one of Y2K joints.
Say what do you say? Computers with 100 gigabytes, ninjabyte.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, it was Y2K. People were going crazy. They thought the world was going in. You know what I mean?
You owe me.
You owe me. That's hitting. I still like that record.
You owe me again. It's not a bad record. I just think that it's not the record that we wanted to hear from that individual at the time, and that's okay. You Owe Me is actually, when I'm looking at it, You Owe Me is actually better than a lot of the songs on here. Mal Sev with the super chat says, probably Nas's worst album here. New World is bad. The Outcome. Yeah. Well, the outcome is I think that album is towards the bottom. And you know what? I Am is kind of volume 3-ish. when we were going through Volume 3.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see it's a little volume 3-ish.
Stillmatic. Okay, we got the Stillmatic intro. Fire.
Still one of his best intros. Crazy.
Yeah. Ether. Crazy.
Crazy.
Got Yourself a Gun. I wasn't a big fan of that.
Yeah, you weren't. You didn't like that from jump.
But again, it's a single, and I think it did decent. But no, I wasn't a big fan of Got Yourself a Gun. It's not a bad record, though. Smoking, it's okay. Wasn't a huge fan of that. You're the Man, incredible. Rewind, incredible. One Mic, incredible. Second Childhood, fire. Destroy, Rebuild, fire. The Flyers, fire. Yeah, see, this is the difference between, this album and the other two that we were on.
And what's the difference though? He brought Large Professors coming back after a period of absence.
Yeah, Large Professors in the fold. What did you think about Rule featuring A. Marie? Because I liked it.
I like the record. I mean, I like the original Tears for Fears record they sampled from. So I like the record. I mean,
now this version I'm looking at left Braveheart Party off, but that song's on the album. Yeah, Braveheart Party's on there. So we're not gonna sit here and act like it's not on there. It's on there. My Country featuring Millennium Thug. So was okay.
That's okay.
What Goes Around, that's the one. Jeez. Yeah, that album's at number 3. I mean, yeah.
Is that number 3?
Yeah. I got Illmatic, It Was Written, Stillmatic. That's where I'm at.
I got Stillmatic maybe number 3, but I'm a big fan of Magic, Mike. I don't know.
Man, Magic's crazy. Stillmatic got all right. We'll get to
I am a big fan of Magic, Mike. Nope,
okay,
nah.
Let's talk about
not
this,
the movie, y'all. Not the movie.
Let's talk about this Lost Tapes thing. Because you're saying Lost Tapes shouldn't count as an album, and I wholeheartedly disagree because it's all original music. And I don't understand why it wouldn't be counted as an album.
Because they don't classify it as an album, Mike. Nobody. I mean, he doesn't classify it as an album. The record label.
I've never heard Nas say that the Lost Tapes isn't an album. Where did Nas say that?
Put it in the chat, man. Put a poll. Is the Lost Tapes an album, or is it do you count the Lost Tapes as a solo album?
Should the Lost?
It's an album, but does it count as a solo album? We know it's an album, but is it a solo? I don't think it is.
Why not?
It's a dope album, but I mean, it's not a part of his discography as far as like as a solo. It's a compilation album. It's not a solo album.
How is it a compilation album? It's just him on.
The label said it was a
solo mission.
It said it was a compilation album. They didn't say it was a solo album. That's what they said. I didn't say it.
You're saying it now because they said it. But
that's what they said. Because that's what they said.
So you're basing
Lost Tapes is a I'm not saying you trying to make it seem like I'm saying Lost Tapes ain't like that. Lost Tapes is a classic. I'm not saying that. It's not. But they're classifying it as a compilation album.
The same people that
people that printed it out, the people that distributed it, they're saying it's a compilation album. It's not me or Mike saying it. I'm saying what the people that marketed it, who pressed it, who sent it out, who distributed it, they say it's a compilation. That's what they say.
Well, see, it's the same thing as the people at the record labels who want to count certain folks' efforts as mixtapes and not albums just so they can keep them in longer contracts too. And that's not cool. I think anything that has original pieces of work is an album. Why not? Why is it not? I don't understand that. I mean, the same process to making this and creating this is the same process that comes into creating an album. And it's a whole solo mission. So it's not a compilation like The Dynasty, which is classified as a Jay-Z solo album, which is clearly a compilation. Shit, this album, The Lost Tapes, is more of a solo album than Volume 2 is.
Hey man, I like the album. I like the Lost Tapes. I love it. It's one of my favorite joints. I'm just saying what they said, but we can move on. But not.
We got 54 votes, and 86% people say that it should be counted as an album.
Well, I mean, because it is an album. I'm not saying it's not an album. I'm just saying what the label said. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's great. Let's not roast me in the damn comments. I'm just saying what they said. The people that paid for the joint, the people that cut the check said it was a compilation. That's all I'm saying.
But we got to know why they said this. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we can't assume it's because of the process that it was made. I truly believe that they don't want to classify it as an album because they didn't want to put the money behind this that they would put behind an album. But that doesn't negate the fact that the artist went out here and made them an album. Mall 7 with the super chat says Stillmatic is a classic, top 5 in its catalog. So since the people want to count the lost tapes, where are we gonna put the lost tapes in this?
We gotta rank the lost tapes high. That changes my calculation. Then, if we're gonna say the lost tapes is an album, it's definitely got to be hovering around 6 or 5. If that's the case,
For Do Rags, boom,
boom,
My Way, boom,
boom,
You Gotta Love It,
boom. One of my favorite Nas songs.
You Gotta Love It's great. Nothing Lasts Forever. It's an awesome record too.
Awesome record.
No Ideas original.
Awesome record.
50.
Blazer 50 is crazy.
Purple. Drunk by Myself.
Black Zombie.
Papa Was a Player. And
crazy. It's a crazy record. Crazy record. if we count it as an album, it's top. It's 5 or 6. It's up there.
I might have it a little higher than that.
You got it over Stillmatic?
It does. See, the thing is, it taps into what he does great, and it doesn't deviate from that. Similar to Magic, right? I would probably give Stillmatic an edge because it has the high moments, like one mic moments that this one might not have, but it also has the Braveheart party moments that this album doesn't have. I don't know. Because of Braveheart Party, and I know we're splitting hairs here, I'm gonna put Lost Tapes above Stillmatic, but below It Was Written right now. So I got the Lost Tapes at 3 right now.
This changes my list. I'm gonna go Illmatic, It Was Written. Damn. I'm gonna have to go Lost Tapes. Then I'm gonna go Stillmatic. No, I'm gonna go Magic. Then I'm gonna go Stillmatic. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do.
Brian G with the super chat says Lost Tapes has no skips. It's a perfect Nas album. Yeah, like I said, before I would say, stuff like You're the Man and like I said, One Mic, Second Childhood, Rewind would make me put Stillmatic over this album, and Ether. Ether's a big moment. But Braveheart Party has to take it down some. Ain't no Braveheart Party on here. So,
no.
Yeah. Mall 7 with the super chat says that flow and lyrical rhyme scheme Nas used on You Gotta Love It was crazy as fuck.
Insane. Top 10 Nas song for me.
Let's go Godson real quick.
Let's go Godson.
And then we're going to get Leroy in here before we get out of here.
Let's go to Godson. Let's go to
All
Godson.
Right. Get Down. Dope.
It's James Brown, baby.
The Cross. Wasn't that big a fan of the Cross.
Wasn't a big fan of the Cross, but Get Down, you gotta, that's James Brown, baby. What can I say about that?
Makes you look at my personal opinion as Nas' greatest single. So that's my opinion. Last Real Nigga Alive. I love that record. I think that's my favorite record in the whole back and forth. That it's between that and the Stillmatic freestyle. Excuse me. Zone Out. That's a horrible record. Sorry. Hey Nah. It's not good. I Can's great.
I Can's cool. It's good.
I think that the problem that people have with I Can is the reason why it's successful. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but it's supposed to be cheesy for the kids, right? And then it has to be something that the kids can sing. And then he comes with the last verse where he's dropping knowledge.
It's like
It's
the J.
kinda
Cole and it was like the precursor to the J. Cole and Dirk record. It was ahead of it. That's what it is.
kind of like All My Life, yeah. I look, I'm not a big fan of that record, but I respect it.
Right. You carry on nice with the kids, man. You can't knock the records for the kids.
His last verse had a real Boogie Down Productions, You Must Learn type of vibe to it. 007 with the super chat says, man, name a rapper catalog with the top 7 LPs that are 5 mics. Ain't many of them out there, man. Book of Rhymes.
Crazy record.
You like Book of Rhymes like that?
I like Book of Rhymes. That was you didn't like Book of Rhymes, Mike?
Cool. That's cool.
No, you should elaborate on that. Book of
I
Rhymes
didn't
was
love
tight.
it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think it was the production on it. He did his thing on there.
Alchemist did that beat.
Yeah, I remember. Thug Mansion. I didn't really love Thug Mansion.
I like Thug Mansion, man. I thought it was cool. I mean, it was like an acoustic record. It was one of them unplugged joints. I mean,
it's all right.
It was cool.
106 days. People saying Book of Rhymes is fire. I'm bugging. Right.
You are bugging.
Mastermind.
Another Alchemist is on here heavy.
Yeah, he was. Warrior Song featuring Alicia Keys.
Wasn't a big fan of that record. It was cool.
Revolutionary Warfare.
That was cool.
Dance in Heaven, I liked.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid album. If we go on a source scale, I'm gonna say it's a good 4.
It's a good 4. Made You Look gets it to a 4. Last Real Nigga Alive gets it to a 4.
It's better than I Am. Most certainly, it's better than I Am.
It is better than I Am.
It's better than Nastradamus, so it's just a solid 4.
It's definitely better than Nastradamus than I Am. I think that it loses momentum as it goes on. Like, it's very top heavy, even though Zone Out's number 5 and Hey Nas is there, but the top of this album is very, very top heavy. Mall7 with the super chat says, Heaven has some of the best flow patterns he ever used. He killed it. Okay. What's next? Streets Disciple? And I think that
Leroy wanted to speak on Streets Disciple.
Chime in on Streets Disciple.
I'm about to get him on now. Hold on.
Speaking of somebody that got haters, man, we got to get.
He's the most hated. We're the most hated people in the podcast game, man. I don't understand. I don't understand why, man. Damn. You know, all I did was try to help people. That's all I try to do.
No love, man.
No love. There's no love in the heart of the city, baby. Let's get Leroy on. Streets Disciple. What you think about Streets Disciple, Mike?
I remember getting Streets Disciple. This is the Georgia State days, and I got it off the strength of Thief's Theme. I love Thief's Theme, and I didn't feel like at the time that anything matched up to that. And I don't know. Again, I don't know what I was expecting from the album, but it's one of those double discs, just like most double discs. It was just too long. But going back, listening to it, you know, after all these years, it's actually a pretty good effort. It's just like most double discs needed to be cut the right way. You know, yeah, I think it has some very shining moments on it. And if this album was chopped down to a good 10 to 12 songs, I think it would have been just fine. But, you know, the record with his father, and I appreciate that a lot more now too. I think Bridging the Gap is something that hip hop wasn't ready for at that time. And I don't know what we were expecting from Bridging the Gap, but looking back on it, I really respect the chance that they took and how they tried to marry those two worlds before we really even saw that happen in that era. Like, it was like a blues rap record just using like his father's skill set and Nas adjusting to his father. So I thought that was dope too. But at the time, I didn't really look into all of those things because, again, all I saw was a double disc and I saw how lengthy it was and it didn't catch me immediately. So I kind of slept on a lot of these records, but this album is much better than I actually originally thought it was. Looking at the track list now, it could be better than it was written. It's crazy. I never would have said that before.
No, come on, Mike. No, that's a bridge too.
Not it was written. I apologize. I misspoke.
Okay. I was about to say, Mike, you going as a bridge.
That's crazy. No. I meant to say I am. I'm sorry. Delete that from the rebroadcast.
Leroy, what's good, man?
What's good? What's good, everybody? How you doing?
Rock Nation in the building.
I'm Rock Nation, but I'm worried, man. Nas got me. KD3, I got kind of worried. Now he's back with Primo, but I'm gonna do Nas justice. I'm gonna try to give him justice. Y'all bear with me, man. I'm gonna try to do my best here. All right?
What were your thoughts on Streets Disciple? I know you wanted to chime in on Streets Disciple.
So now we're getting into 2004 Nas. So from 2004 to 2012, I think is an underrated era of Nas that people need to go back to and see. Nas was really, Streets Disciple, Nazareth Savage, These Are Our Heroes, Disciple, Just a Moment, You Know My Style, Suicide Bounce is crazy. The biography of Rakim or UBR, that's crazy. Bridging the Gap, Thief's Theme, come on. Streets Disciple is serious.
Yeah, it really is, man. When you go through it, it's like it's got some joints on it.
Yeah, it's a double album, so it is kind of long and pause, but it's like if you condense it down, and I've never heard like the perfect album, like meaning like an album that has like no skips. I ain't heard that. I even skip One Time for Your Mind on Illmatic. So if y'all have albums that you don't skip, cool. I haven't heard those.
What do you skip on Thriller?
Okay.
Thriller?
Right.
Thriller, you're in the minority, sir.
Man.
Yeah.
Mike, you're the only guy in the world to sit around listening to the song Thriller in the comfort of your own home on a Friday evening. Put it in the chat. Who in the chat listens to Thriller in the comfort of their home on a Friday evening? The song Thriller.
No, man. Come on, man.
Come on, Mike. Let's keep it a buck.
You don't listen to the song Thriller?
My kids go trick-or-treating for Halloween, but I ain't gonna be playing it on a Friday night in the comfort of my home. Come on, man. That record, Thriller.
The disrespect to Rod Temperton and the funky bass line, man.
Thriller's a great record, but I'm saying on a Friday night, I'm not playing Thriller in the comfort of my home.
So you're telling me, and not that, we'll get back to you, Leroy. I'm sorry, but you're telling me you want to be starting something, then Baby Be Mine comes on, then The Girl Is Mine comes on, and then Thriller comes on. You say, I'm gonna skip this and I'm going to beat it.
I'm not playing those records in the comfort of my home on a Friday evening. I'm not putting it on my car. When I get in my car, I'm not putting on Thriller to ride out with.
Play Darling Nikki.
I'm gonna play Purple Rain. That's what I'm gonna play.
So you're not. Yeah, okay. All right, go ahead, Leroy. I'm sorry.
I ain't saying it's not a classic. I'm saying Thriller is a classic, guys. So I'm saying I want to put y'all not keeping it in the buck, man. Y'all know y'all not listening to that record on a Friday night, chilling in the comfort of your home or hopping in your ride, riding out the Thriller. Y'all not doing it, man. Stop.
I'll listen to it after I get off here.
Yeah.
Back to Streets Disciple, man. Y'all crazy, man.
Okay, so the reason why I feel like these years are important, and to be clear, we're talking about Streets Disciple, Hip Hop Is Dead, the Untitled album, the End Tape with DJ Green Lantern, and Streets Disciple. Right?
Okay.
No, and Distant Relatives, right?
Oh, I forgot about Distant Relatives, man. That's such a dope ass
project. You see, this is Nas in his purest form, with all his confidence, with all the poetic agility. He's like, this is him in his bag, and this is him in his purest form, in the sense that he had those records, like when you were talking about I Am, we had the crossover records and trying to step out and do different things, trying different flows and different things like that. But with these albums, he stayed in his bag, and he was most comfortable in his bag. And these records mean something. We just got off the Streets Disciple. Hip Hop Is Dead. That was a statement at the time, because people felt like, hip hop is dead. Just the feeling of it wasn't the same. You know what I mean? So
he explained that too, like where he was coming from with it, and with it. I think a lot of folks, and Soulja Boy even spoke with this too, and I'm sure there was part of it, but they felt like that was like some hating shit where it was like it was aimed at a certain generation and a certain group of hip hoppers that were active at that time. And the statement, the way I took it, was the fact that the purity of it all was dead. It was a business now. And he wasn't saying that hip hop is dead now in like 2007 or whatever. You know what I mean? He was saying that it's probably been dead for a long time. I'm just gonna say it, and maybe things can change.
You're right. I agree with that. He was speaking to a particular aspect of hip hop, the more commercial side and more consumer, side, and but the album was still fire though. I mean, you got Money.
Like that album? Nah, I didn't really love the hip hop.
You got Money Over BS. Where are they now? Hip hop is dead. Black Republican, Still Dreaming, beautiful record. Hold Down the Block, beautiful record. Blunt Ashes, Can't Forget About You, beautiful record again.
I love that record.
So I mean, he did that.
It's got some shit on. It's got some shit on Hip Hop Is Dead, but
yeah.
Let me ask y'all, Mike, real quick. Who got who on Black Republic?
I think Jay has the better verse, but I think that whenever Jay and Nas collaborate, Jay tends to try a lot harder than Nas. I kind of noticed that.
I don't know about that, man. I think Jay kicks back, but I think Jay did a particular pattern, right? If you follow that pattern, it wasn't that hard for him to write that. And plus he's just saying his real life. It's not like he has to let me think of what to say. Like, no.
I think it's just the intensity that he approaches it, with like the song BBC on Holy Grail, where Nas is like, rock the V-neck, in my projects. This nigga Jay comes in there. What you know about going out here, West Red Legs, TVs, all of it at hair rest, makes niggas in Madison Square Garden, 50 niggas older, we still catch it. Like the intensity's different. And it's all, even on Black Republican. Like Nas kind of just comes in with a regular verse. This nigga Jay come in there like I'm dancing right now. Like it's different. It's a different intensity.
I mean, it's time. If you're gonna do it, that would be the time to do it. If you're gonna compete, right? I mean, hey, you know, I hope they do it again with this Primo and Nas album. And just to segue a little bit, when it comes to Primo's beats, y'all have to know what you're getting. Now, I'm not telling you what to like or what to not. If you don't like some of them, that's fine. Again, I don't have an album that I don't skip. I skipped something, but with Primo, you're getting a particular sound. I know you guys like the Hit Boy, and Hit Boy is great. I don't have to knock down another man to big up somebody else. But Primo does a particular sound for a particular group. You know what I mean? It's boom bap. He's not gonna try to be Hit Boy, y'all. That's not who Primo is. But there's, I
was gonna get to the super chats real quick because I know he's kind of sitting on the Illmatic says Street Disciple, this one is a classic. Web Visibility with the super chat says these are our heroes. Nas really went in on Kobe. I remember that. That was one of the standouts for me at that moment. What do you think about I guess where should we put Street's Disciple? Because it seems like Street's Disciple has a lot of heat on it. Would Street's Disciple somehow be over Godson or slightly below it? Because I think I got it slightly below it.
I got it slightly below it, Mike.
Yeah,
I could do that slightly below Godson, but I got Street's Disciple over Stillmatic.
What?
Yeah, buddy.
Wow. Leroy, that's a little bit. Explain. Make your case, Leroy. Make your case. Make your case, bro.
I just feel like Nas was in more of his bag with Street's Disciple. He tried some things with Stillmatic. There was a lot going on with Stillmatic. Stillmatic rose to the occasion of the hype and all that. But I feel like Nas was a little bit more comfortable in his bag on Street's Disciple.
Are you holding Ether against Stillmatic? I must ask, the elephant in the room here.
No, Ether's great. Ether's fine. I was knocking Ether when it came out. I play Ether now. I don't think it's as devastating as people. Because if I ask you, what are the bars that are so devastating? No. But I just like Streets Disciple a little bit more. It's just the music. It's just the music. That's all.
I'm sure people could give you some bars from Ether that were devastating.
That's cool.
I want to see the people bring some bars up,
Right.
but I think that Stillmatic just has stronger songs from beginning to end. But I do like the mentality that Nas had from, and always has had, but it was very apparent in that whole Streets Disciple, Untitled, even Hip Hop Is Dead, that era where he was talking that shit, like Sly Fox. I know that's on Untitled, but it's that era that you're talking about. And I think that era gets capped off with the Distant Relatives, which I think is very fitting too, you know.
This is the Nas I like the most. Now, granted, we have Illmatic, so I'm gonna put Illmatic to the side, right? But this is the Nas I like the most because, and what I'm saying he's in his bag is what I mean is the direction of where he's going. Lyrically, he's focused, man. If you go to the N album now, the title, I can't really rock with the title, but I rock with the idea. This is Nas's Magna Carta, and I don't mean in sound, right? I don't mean that they're the same sound, right? But Nas is trying to upset the establishment. He puts the title out there. It causes waves. Now, this is us in a commercial setting. What our music, our soul, our mental intellect, what's that worth in the market? And that's what Nas is trying to convey. But he still, when you got the album, you got Queens Get the Money, Sly Fox, the title track, Fried Chicken, Black President. I mean, these are deep things that Nas is dealing with, and like what Ridgematic was saying, the N mixtape too. You know, the nigga mixtape. You know what I'm saying? That was fire. There was stuff on there. Cops Keep Firing, Association, Legendary, Let's Go Esco. Fire.
He had a lot of music, man.
Yeah.
Mom 7 with the super chat says there isn't a weak verse on Hip Hop Is Dead. I didn't really like Who Killed It, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't a huge fan of it. 007 with the super chat says Streets Disciple over Stillmatic is asinine. I'm going to have to agree with 007 on that one.
Now, I wouldn't use that word asinine, but I just think that's not, I don't think that's the case. I think Stillmatic is better than Streets Disciple. That's just me. But, you know, Leroy, you have a different view.
Yeah.
As the people are noticing in the chat, but you're able to defend that view.
Disciple then.
My views are very different. But, you know, I'm not mad at Stillmatic. It never really grabbed me like, Stillmatic never really grabbed me like that. But before we get into Distant Relatives, though, to the commercial point, you have two ways you could go. Like I said, Jay and Nas, you could go the commercial route, or you could hold to your guns or stand on your square and keep it about the purity, right? Either way it goes, you're going to dance in the mainstream some way, whether you like it or not. Because if you're really good, the masses are going to come whether you like it or not. So, but Nas held his position. You know, I do think it is very hard to do what Jay does, to be a star and also be rapping about coke. You know what I mean? I think that's hard. You know what I mean? But anyway, to cap it off with the Distant Relatives, come on, man. That tribal war, leaders, friends, despair, patience, Africa must wake up.
Yeah.
Bro,
so y'all bringing the joint albums in. We didn't do that for Jay.
We're not gonna bring in the joint albums, but man, Distant Relatives is a very, very dope album.
Hey, but even if you take it off, right? Life is Good came after that. It's like
the end. We gotta go to what came after that. I think Untitled came after Hip Hop Is Dead, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go to that real quick.
Well, we talked about it though. The N album.
Did we go into it, Mike? I thought we just touched
Untitled album. Yeah.
I went into it a little bit.
You spoke to it a little bit. You were kind of skipping around a little bit, but yeah. I mean, if we're gonna, all right, let's go to Hip Hop Is Dead because we were on Streets Disciple. We kind of broke that down. We can go track for track with Hip Hop Is Dead. Let's do that.
Okay.
The Streets Disciple is stronger than I once thought. But Hip Hop Is Dead, I never thought it was that strong, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Hip Hop Is Dead. All right, here we go. Money Over Yeah.
You don't like that one? That's fine.
Yeah. How'd you like the intro?
I rock with it. The intro's fire, man.
You can't kill me.
I gotta go back.
Okay. I mean,
Let me pull it up.
Carry on tradition.
I like that one. I like that one.
Where are they now?
I like that record.
I like that one.
Yeah. What about Hip Hop Is Dead?
It wasn't feeling that one. Didn't like that one.
Because again, I like these themes so much. Web Visibility with the super chat says, I hate Hip Hop Is Dead just for Nas's ridiculous voice on Who Killed It. LOL. 007 the super chat says the end mixtape was better than the LP. Sure. All right, then you got Who Killed It, didn't like that record. Black Republican, love it.
Love the record.
Not Going Back, featuring Khalees. Still Dreaming, featuring Kanye. Love that record.
Love the record.
Hold Down the Block. I'm with that.
Like that record.
Blunt Ashes.
Fire.
Let There Be Light. Trey Williams.
That's cool.
Player, featuring Snoop. Again, a not memorable collabo from like two of our all-time greats. Can't Forget About You, Cassette Michelle featured on there. Love Can't Forget About You.
That was a good record. That's dope.
I love Hustlers featuring The Game and Marsha Ambrosia.
Fine.
Hope. Okay. Shine On. So I would put this below, Streets Disciple. Shit, I would put this below I Am as well.
So you got I Am over this one?
Yeah. I got I Am over Hip Hop Is Dead.
I Am. Okay. All right. You was not looking happy when you was going through I Am, right?
I wasn't. These are very similar. You know what? Let me put this in.
Like you was
I'm
looking
sure people in the polls are. Let's see.
We should jump on Rumble one of these nights and play these records back to back. Or at least compare two of them. We should compare two of them.
When I'm going through them, I want to play them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we should have a listening party and then kind of rate the albums together with the people.
Yeah, and we can get people voting as we're actually playing the records too. Hip Hop Is Dead.
Somebody got Hip Hop Is Dead as bottom 4. I can see that.
Yeah. We are kind of disrespecting I Am, I guess, man. But
I mean, we got to go back and we went through I Am and we just didn't. It wasn't a lot of. I mean, the I Am highs are really high. It's New York State of Mind Part 2.
Yeah, that's so high.
Nas is like.
Yeah, this is below I Am to me. I mean, yeah, they got Hip Hop Is Dead below that. Okay. Because I'm just trying to make sure I'm not tripping. It's his worst album by far. Huh.
Okay. Yeah, at this time, you got Kanye West out there, you got The Game out there, you got different stuff going on, so people turning their attention. 50 still running around. But Nas, he held it down, in my opinion.
I like Untitled better than Hip Hop Is Dead, too.
Me too.
Because Untitled starts off crazy. They got one of the best Nas intros. Queens Get the Money is a crazy record.
Yeah.
Crazy record.
I mean, one of my favorites on here is that The Slave and the Master. That shit's great. That shit is
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. So it has more, but see, that's the thing on Nas. Just like with Jay's bad albums, he gives you some hit records. Even Nas's bad albums, he'll give you some phenomenal moments, like A Slave and the Master, or Black Republican, or Can't Forget About You.
Yeah, I mean,
but you know what? This makes me think though. This Hit Boy run, these 6 albums, man, like this adds to the meat of his catalog. Because right now, what I got Illmatic, It Was Written, The Lost Tapes, and then Stillmatic. And I mean, we're gonna keep going on probably next show because it's gonna have to be a part 2 because we already like 2-something hours in.
Yeah,
I think that Magic and KD3 are gonna take these spots here too, because I think KD3 can possibly be better than Stillmatic. I want to see what the people think on that. What do you guys think about that?
I think it could be. You know, I think Magic, KD3, these are strong. You know, I like everything.
Magic's top 5 for certain. Magic's top 5 for certain. I'm debating whether it's better than Stillmatic. I don't know. I listen to Magic more than I listen to Stillmatic. I don't know if because it's newer, because it's more recent, but I listen to Magic. I mean, Woo's for the Children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got so many records on that joint, man.
All right, I'm gonna put it in the poll. We got Stillmatic, Magic, and KD3, and I want to see what people are picking as the best album. I think there's an argument for KD3 to be the best of these 3 albums overall. When we get to 100 votes, I'm gonna call it. But yeah, they got Stillmatic at 57%, 54%. Okay, KD3 is gaining. It's crazy, man, when you have a catalog like this, and this is top 6, right? Like, so in my mind, before we, get to further out, his catalog, and he has a lot of great stuff, even in the KD Magic series. I think his top 6 is Illmatic, no particular order. Illmatic, It Was Written, The Lost Tapes, Stillmatic, Magic, and KD3. That is a tough 6 for anybody. And I didn't even mention Magic 3 or KD2.
I can't
That's
rock
a
with
big tough catalog.
I like in this Hit Boy run, I'm gonna say this is my personal favorite. I'm gonna say it's Magic, KD3, then shit. I'm gonna say Magic 3 after
Magic
KD3.
That's good.
That's just me. And I'm
Super Chat says KD3 is ranked number 3 behind Illmatic and It Was Written. Okay. I would, you know what? Man, it's hard to go against the Lost Tapes because that kind of throws off the balance here.
That's what.
But it really is.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's mentioning Lost Tapes. That's what I'm saying. They think, that's what the point I was trying to make earlier. Lost Tapes is dope. If you throw the Lost Tapes in the equation, it's hard not to put it like around 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's like this man's catalog is crazy. This is why he's the greatest MC of all time.
I'm conflicted with Lost Tapes because first, we don't know if Nas put that out or if the label decided. Second, what year was that? Was the Lost Tapes? It was 2000 or
that was 01. I'm sorry, 02. Excuse me. Yeah, it was 02.
Okay, so the tone of the album versus the tone outside, 2 different things going on. Now, again, people, Jay is 1 to me and Nas is 2. So if people want to say Nas is 1 and Jay is 2, it's the same argument, right? But when Nas attempts to go in a different lane commercially, he a lot of times he just pulls back and stays in his bag. Whereas in Jay will jump right in that lane with no problem.
Well, you know what the Lost Tapes is for Nas, if you want to compare it to Jay. It's American Gangster. And American Gangster, Jay did what he was comfortable with doing, and we praised him for it, as we should, because it was a dope album. And Nas did that same thing on Lost Tapes.
I can see that.
But see, I'm with you, Mike, and I want to preface my statement by saying this: Lost Tapes is a great piece of work. It could be top 5 Nas in his catalog if we count it as a solo album. But Mike, you're an MC. Leroy, you're an MC. It's a different process going in the studio and making an album with the purpose I'm making an album, as opposed to having songs that span over a decade and then putting those songs that didn't make your other albums into one piece of work. That's totally different. So you can't say it's American Gangster. You can't say it's the same thing, because American Gangster was made because of a film, and Jay was in that mindset to make an album based upon the American Gangster theme. You're talking about a man that had a whole bunch of great records over a decade or a decade and a half, and then he took those records that didn't make the other albums and made it into one cohesive body of work. It's not the same thing. That's just me. It's not. It's not, Mike.
First of all, it wasn't a decade. A decade would have been 1992. So you're talking about stuff for maybe like 3-4 years. And really, if we want to be honest about it, that's exactly what Kanye did for College Dropout. He had songs that were laying around for 3-4 years and put it together as an album. Dr. Dre does it all the time. I was just talking about the fact that Forgot About Dre was recorded in 97, 96, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, people do it all the time. It's not a problem.
It happens. But I don't
Dave with the super chat says, where is Life is Good ranked? We're gonna start with Life is Good next show for sure.
Got it.
So I mean, that happens all the time. People have songs that have been around for years. I mean, again, I hate to do this to you, Ron, but Prince had I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man laying around for 10 years and put it on Sign of the Times.
Hey, man. Hey, let's be respectful when we talk about Prince. And let's be respectful. And let's be respectful.
Have records laying around for years.
I misspoke. It wasn't a decade. I stand corrected. I was just heated in my argument. What I'm saying is that you compared it to American Gangster and Jay in his pocket for American Gangster as opposed to it's two different concepts, Mike. That's all I'm saying. I'm standing on that argument.
I got you. But yeah, I feel that. But I think that my comparison to it was the fact that they both were doing things that were comfortable to them. And I don't think that Jay really jumped out there and tried to make a hit record on American Gangster. Now, he did Rock Boys, which I think came off organic. And that's why I feel like it's one of his strongest singles in that part of his career. But I don't think he thought that was going to be a big one. I think he thought the Blue Magic was going to be big, though.
Right. But Mike, I gotta we cannot tolerate any Prince disrespect.
It's no disrespect. It's just honest truth.
I'm gonna turn in my resignation tonight. If there's any more Prince slander tonight, I'm turning in my resignation. I'm off. I'm out of here, man. I can't take it.
Several of the super chat says, put your body of work out as an artist for the people. That's a representation of where you are, not to match the times. If it sticks, cool. If not, it's okay.
See, I disagree with that. Because when you go outside, right, you do things according to the time period. You don't, not everything, but you ain't gonna wear some clothes that makes no sense outside, right? So it's the same with musically, where you're not gonna do things that make no sense. You know what I mean?
What's the catch-22 to that, though? Like, sometimes you could do that and sound like 1998, or you could step outside of the fray and don't have an age on it. Like, again, I give Outkast credit here. Spodio de Dopalicious dropped in 1998 on the Kumanai. That doesn't sound like what was going on in 1998 in hip hop.
Right.
It sounds timeless. So sometimes you could do that and, catch a brick or whatever, but sometimes you can do that and really fly.
Yeah, I mean, some people
get that every time, though. I think that's the thing, with the exception of the Blueprint, which he stepped out.
I mean, Jay does what Jay does. I mean, people could say, okay, that's not timeless. They could they'll pick out Money, Cash Holes, or whatever you want to do, whatever you want to pick out and say it's not timeless. But when you hear it, it's going to take you back to a time period, and it is timeless for you, and it's timeless for you. When you hear it, it takes you back to high school or wherever you was at. That's a timeless effect.
I don't know. Is that a nostalgic effect or a timeless effect?
What's the difference?
Well, I think that kind of like what I was saying earlier with Outkast, like when I listen to songs on Southern Playlistic, like Hootie Hoo, right? I think that takes me to a certain time. And I don't know if I'm going back playing that record because it's timeless or if it's nostalgic for me. Now, when I play Electric Relaxation, I'm playing that because I want to hear it. I'm not playing that because I grew up with that being the theme song for, the Wayans brothers and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So it's like, I don't know.
So we talked about a lot of Nas albums, Mike. I want to ask you this, and I want to ask you and Leroy this question. And I'll go ahead and answer it before I throw the question to you guys. When we get into our mindset of our day, we doing things with the family, we getting in our car, we want to reflect on music. What Nas albums are we going back to? For me, I'm going back to Illmatic. I'm going back to It Was Written. I'm going back to the Lost Tapes. I'm going back to Magic. And I'm going back to Stillmatic. And I'm going back to Godson a little bit. Hip hop is dead. I rarely revisit. If you just check my Spotify and my Apple Music, I don't go to, the Untitled. I play Queens Get the Money on an Untitled joint. And I really don't go to Streets Disciple like this. Once in a while I go to Streets Disciple, but those are the albums that I'm revisiting of Nas. What do y'all go to when y'all just want to cue up some Nas?
You want to go first, Leroy?
Yeah, I'm definitely going back to It Was Written. You know, It Was Written is just like, that's my thing. Now I know Illmatic is Illmatic. And again, even with some I like the Perfect album, Illmatic, right? I don't always go back to it like that. I have to be in a mood for that. It Was Written, I could listen to whenever. But it's like Nas, he is doing so much poetically, lyrically, right? That I have to be in a zone to really listen to that. I'm not putting that on to say clean the house or just to take or just, you know, like, I'm sorry. I gotta listen to what Nas is saying because he is demanding that I listen. I could tell by how he's writing. So I don't go to it a lot unless I'm in a mood. And I'll go back to the Untitled album, Distant Relatives, you know what I mean? Shout out Jamaica, mine, you know. It Was Written, and you know, that'll be about it. You know what I mean?
Well, obviously, Illmatic's a go-to. You know, I would say that It Was Written. You know, I go back to Silent Murder all the time in those records. But you know, there are points of I Am that are very nostalgic for me because those are my high school years. Even though I Am's not, you know, the best album, it does have those moments. But Life Is Good. You want to talk about being able to just, you know, chill out, cleaning the house or whatever. When I'm playing Cherry Wine and, you know, Bye Baby and stuff like that, like Life Is Good has some really good chill moments where you don't feel like he's rapping for you to quote unquote listen to him bar for bar. It's more of a vibing thing. And I think that's what's so impressive about what him and Hit have done in recent times. It's like, this isn't about us listening to the It Was Written lyrical beast Nas per se, but a lot of these songs we could really just vibe and listen to. That's what really caught me with KD too, because I saw that they were catching their stride on that end. We were on a road trip. I think it was going out to Baton Rouge or something. And I'm just sitting here listening to this album like, this is a really great listen. You know, Store Run, Nobody. Like, these are really good songs to really listen to as opposed to just, you know, what I'm used to listening to Nas for, you know, quoting every bar. Now I'm just kind of like vibing to everything that's going on to it. So to answer your question, Ron, I'm kind of skipping all around. Like I go back to KD3. This whole KD Magic series has stuff that I really go back to. So I can kind of group them in one. I really don't go back to that era that, you know, Leroy's speaking about, but I do respect that era because I think that's Nas the Rebel in that era. The one song I go back to in that era is Thief's Thing for sure. But everything else, I kind of, you know, sprinkle pieces around. It Was Written Better was what the super chat says. It Was Written, Illmatic, Life Is Good, King's Disease 3. Now, did you just make that YouTube title? Like,
that's pretty cool. Well, you left out Magic, bro. You left out Magic, but
no,
Magic.
I can't leave out Magic. I mean, when I'm talking about the whole series, I'm talking about the whole series. Magic is a moment, and Magic is that moment where I didn't know he could rap like that again, and it was unbelievable. It was like seeing Tom Brady out there in Tampa Bay, where it's like, damn man, you can still do this.
Ugly 4060 building, Wave Gods, Woo's for the Children. Crazy records, man.
Crazy. What's your favorite song on Magic? Because the truth is insane.
I like 4016 building.
Yeah.
Wave Gods is
Before
crazy.
we get out of here, Wave Gods dope too. Before we get out of here, man, I just want to say, man, Quavo, man.
He just dropped a record, I heard. He just dropped a record.
Huh?
Academics say he just responded. He just dropped a record. Act's on right now.
I don't even want to hear it. I'm sorry, man. And I'm a Migos fan, man. Like, man, come on, man. Chris came at you like this. So, you know, when I heard the Chris Brown record, I was like, this is how niggas wanted Drake J.Cole and Kendrick to respond to each other.
Right.
This is what gets niggas to react. Now, I'm not sitting here saying, it's right or not, but this is the kind of energy that people were expecting from the rapper guys. And I think it's really interesting that our R&B niggas in this era are way more hardcore than the rap niggas.
I'm confused.
It's what do they call it? Freaky Friday or something, right? Like people just switching roles now. Like the R&B niggas is nothing to mess with at this point.
That makes no sense.
Brian with the super chat says, I want to shout out Leroy. Great addition to the show. You have a fresh hip hop perspective.
Man, Leroy, that is your first positive comment on the show, brother. Hey, you got a positive comment? You got a positive comment before I got one. Damn, man. Hey, can I get some love, man? Damn, Leroy.
No, but I take it serious. I take it serious, and I'm gonna try to up my game here. I'm gonna try to come, informative, give my opinion, respect everyone's opinion. I'm trying, y'all.
If there was an award for most improved from the people, Leroy, you won tonight, bro. You got it, man. They hated us just a couple of days ago. Now they love you. They hate you. Now they love you again, man. That's how I go, man.
It's that R&B niggas is overcompensating. I mean, listen, man. I'm gonna say this, man. I don't know if Chris wrote it or not. And I'm going to assume that Chris wrote it, but I saw somebody in the comments saying that sounded like, what's his name? Joyner Lucas. And I was like, it kind of does. But even if it is Joyner Lucas, do we care? Have we gotten to a point now where we don't even care who writes these diss records?
Right.
But I don't know, man. Either way, Chris Brown really dropped the napalm on Atlanta, man. Atlanta needs to respond, or Quavo needs to respond. Quavo,
I think he's done. I think he's responded, Mike. We do it's in real time. I think Axe premiering his record right now. So,
oh my God, I'm nervous to hear this.
It's just rapping, people. Like, what's the problem? Kendrick, what's the problem? It's just
Breezy sound personal with his though.
I'll tell you this, and I'll put this on record. Kendrick Lamar don't want it with Chris Brown. I said, Kendrick Lamar don't want it with Chris Brown.
Right, Chris out here.
All that subliminal shit, it ain't gonna work for Chris.
Okay.
Kendrick does not want it on wax with Chris Brown. Sorry.
You said what, Mike?
Kendrick Lamar does not want it on wax, bar for bar, with Chris Brown in a rap battle.
Mike, say that. Mike, say that one more time for the people in the back that didn't hear you.
Kendrick Lamar does not want a rap battle with Chris Brown on wax. He doesn't.
It's a damn shame.
And you know what? And if y'all disagree with me, y'all ain't. What have y'all heard? Where's the evidence?
Yeah, you're right.
Man, I can't follow that one up, Mike. I'm not even. I don't have no comment on that.
Light skins up.
All right.
I ain't got no comment on that one, bro.
People say I can't be serious. Where are these Phantom Kendrick records y'all are talking about? Where they
Shit.
at?
Like Lennon in Washington say, Drake don't want it with Breezy either.
Right. Well, J.Cole don't want it with anybody, clearly. Like he don't even want it with the guy who's not even putting records out there.
But you see Drake under pressure, you see how Drake reacts. So unless you know Drake, he's with the smoke. He's with all of that.
And he welcomes the fact that all of these guys are teaming up against him.
My thing is, I'm gonna ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, guys, real quick. Can J. Cole rap any of the verses he's rapped over the last 5 years? He can't. He talked all that big talk, all that top 10 talk, all the GOAT talk. You can't rap that shit now and then do what you did.
It's unfortunate, man. I think he's the biggest he's the biggest loser of all of this, unfortunately. And he didn't deserve this because he's worked so hard to basically be a step above all of his peers.
He was cosplaying as the GOAT. He was a cosplay GOAT performer. That's what he was. That hurts
me to say because he's a great MC, man, and he's shown it on wax, on records. He didn't have to do this. Like he unnecessarily apologized. He didn't have. Why did he do that?
Fall off season. He gonna get you back, Mike, with the fall off season. He gonna regain your trust.
I hope so, man. That's the perfect thing. Hopefully, he gives us a little bit more insight into this unnecessary apology.
That's like me apologizing to Teddy Long. Be like, man, it's just not my heart to hit you like that, man. Y'all like them dudes, right? I can't do it, man. I don't understand. Man. I don't understand.
Yeah, Kendrick's great, right? Like, what?
Crazy, man.
He
Crazy.
didn't even have to say that. Like, we know what Kendrick's resume is. Like, what? I don't understand that, man. I don't understand that. Hopefully, whenever Kendrick does respond with whatever, hopefully he doesn't diss J. Cole, because if he diss J. Cole further, this is even worse.
No, you're right. You're right. Drake is
kicking the man when he's down, man. Unnecessarily down. He didn't even have to be down. You were on the winning team, Cole. You were like you were riding with the winning team. Why did you do this at your festival? Now, allegedly, I don't even want to say this on air because I don't know how true it is. Someone said that Kendrick was supposed to show up to Dreamville Fest and they were supposed to do like some, and I don't know if this is true or not. Again, this is rumors. They're supposed to do some like I declare war type thing where, Jay and Nas did and all that, piece it up, and Kendrick didn't show up.
Man.
And that's what Cole ended up having to do since Kendrick didn't show up. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I'm just saying that's what the word is.
Kendrick is hurting my soul as a West Coast guy. From the West, Kendrick, you're hurting me, man.
Man,
hey, he still got time, man. But again,
like Uncle Murder said, the new rap game is a new WWF, man. It's just crazy, man.
But like I said last episode, you don't want to be in a position where Drake got 2 records out, regardless of what y'all think of the quality of the records.
Right.
They're good enough. I'll put it that way.
He got Pac coming back on it. He got Pac and Snoop.
Disappointed. And rightfully so. Because all of the questions that AI, Pac, and Snoop asked were legitimate. Regardless of what y'all think about the AI technology.
Right.
He asked was legitimate. Like,
yeah.
You at, man? Like, why ain't you dissing this nigga, man? You letting the West Coast down. Like, it's legit.
Where you at?
All right, guys, man. Great show. I'm gonna see y'all Wednesday, man. So we can finish up this Nas list and actually have a comprehensive list because he has such a huge, great catalog.
Got a great catalog, man. We got a lot to talk about. We got to finish it, and we got to revisit Jay's back catalog too. Not his back catalog, but his ancillary catalog with his compilations and his joint albums and shit like that.
Oh, the voting is at over 100 votes, 108 votes. They got Stillmatic at 53%, KD3 at 40%, and Magic at 7%.
Damn, that hurt my heart.
Magic's dope. But, these are monster records. I think that the range of these records is probably why people picked it. So.
We got people coming in the room late. T2 Judgment Day, what's up?
Shout out to T2 Judgment Day in the building. Catch the rebroadcast. Hit like and subscribe. We appreciate y'all. According to hip hop, all day, every day. Appreciate you, Leroy. Appreciate you, Ron.
Yes, sir.
Wednesday.
Peace.
Next time. Peace, y'all.
In the morning with a big grin on my face. Took off my do-rag so I can brush down the bicycle waves. Tap shorty next to me wearing that micro brace. She was choosing my temple face, so this morning is when she lays. Hey, they were on the strap even before we did all the facts. She's taking Decatur, but she lives in my lap. Rap. My nigga Rio had to put a drive on the map. We walking really slow because we got the south on our back. Yeah, my nigga flawless in the cranberry color lack. With that I fit with the matching shoes and the A-town hat. Up if you wanna, you get put down on your back. Getting stumped out by like 8 Air Force Ones with the loosest strap. You ain't even in my race, acting like that you running rap. So, stay in your lane when you speaking up on your tracks. And check out the shades and Dr. J's. Cause I'm cool as the Ice Cubes and my pink lemonade, okay?
Pink lemonade, matching sauce, and I'm polo down. with a bomb of rocks. And my pearl at riding through the swats. Where them niggas stay cool because that 9 gets hot. Yeah. Pink lemonade, magic sauce. And I'm polo down with a bomb of rocks. And my pearl at riding through the swats. Where them niggas stay cool because that 9 gets hot.
Banana color dick is, ooh, y'all don't hear me. I'm fresher than Bel Air Princess. Somebody come and get me cause I'm murking. Hurting niggas for certain. Lurking down the street on beat. Tweet is chirping. Like Blue Jays, Kool-Aid, pink lemonade, shade, frame, maintain. I'm coming up in this game like my name LeBron James. You see me at the West End posted at Krispy Kreme. You're hating on your boy like a lame damn shame. But it's all good, I know y'all gon' envy. You remind me of this girl, so yeah, I'ma call you Kenji for playing on my sax, man. Post star the facts, man. You finna get jacked, man, getting played like Pac-Man, Batman, Robin, Joker, thinking I'm slack, man. Pancake niggas always gonna be flat, man. Man, cause my shawty got on them strap pants. Her ass clap hands when she lap dance.
Pink lemonade, magic sauce. And I'm polo down with a bomb of rocks. And my pearl at riding through the swats. Where them niggas stay cool because that 9 gets hot. Yeah. Pink lemonade, magic sauce. And I'm polo down with a bomb of rocks. And my pearl at riding through the swats. Where them niggas stay cool because that 9 gets hot. I put that shit off in my Cadillac. Ride through my city street. Bumping Jimi Hendrix cars. Looking for a freak to me. Purple got me drifting crazy. Whipping, slipping back and forth. Trying to get my check to cash. Headed to the package store. Stay cool for many days. Matter of fact, a long time. Rio back from Carver home. Look, shot on grown now. Sitting off in my dojo watching fly pay like Miss Miyagi. Niggas in the streets ducking. I ain't even hit nobody. Split nobody. With a decisions. Whatever you may call it. Just leave a message. Then I may be off like alcoholic. Mobile skills. So for real. Catch me on the post and chill. Dreaded down, fitted cap. Hell, lower A-less pill. Won't sleep until I'm dead. Listen to my son's bed. Till he hit that kitchen saying, look, I made my own bread. Ace taught me good this year. Scarecrow nigga from the yard shot. I told that what this year. Pickaboo, you scared nigga, man. I ain't gonna hide. Like me being born screaming, man. I ain't finna die. That ain't gonna happen, boss. Stealth folk can take that loss. Once this verse is done, people, y'all can shut that radio off. Fuck 'em.
Yeah.
John.